Baltimore, fans have a reason to come to Memorial Stadium once again, and they are 40,000 strong today to see a stretch drive meeting of two of the CFL's better teams. In a new football life, Baltimore sets the fan standard for the CFL, and today they're ready for head-to-head matchups everywhere. Don Matthews is one of the league's all-time winners. Dave Ritchie, a defensive master. At quarterback, Kent Austin is one of the most prolific passers in the game. He's run a more complete offense in BC, but he's got the Lions contending for first. His counterpart, Tracy Ham, has been reborn in Baltimore, free to do the things that once made him the league's MVP. He has Baltimore in a first-place battle. The receiving corps matchup. The Lions' Darren Flutie plays in the shadow of his brother, but he's headed for a 100-reception season. Just ahead of him is Baltimore's Chris Armstrong, Tracy Ham's favorite target. There's talent everywhere in Baltimore today, most of it on the field at Memorial Stadium. There's a lot of history at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, and the CFL is working on its piece of it now. They appreciate football here just as long as it's a winning team, and Baltimore's got one. The team's already made the playoffs in its first year of existence. That and 40,000 a game establishes Baltimore as the crown jewel of expansion in any professional sport. Welcome now to Baltimore on a glorious fall day. I'm Scott Oak. Well, you know, normally an established team like the BC Lions would be heavily favored in any game against an expansion franchise, and you can call the Baltimore CFLers whatever you like, as long as you don't call them Colts. An expansion team, yes, but you'd be best advised to just call them winners. And BC Lions head coach Dave Ritchie is taking nothing for granted. This just in fact, it's been rumored for a couple of days, and Ritchie confirmed for us a while ago that he's decided to elevate Danny McManus from backup to starting quarterback for this game. And so we're left to wonder why Kent Austin, the marquee player on a 10-4-1 team, is not starting this game.
Well, basically, Danny is a very good quarterback, and we know we have the playoffs wrapped up. So this is a game that we can start him and see what he has to do under a little bit of pressure, more so than coming in. There was several ways I was going to go about it, and I finally decided this was the way best to pressurize Danny, let him play a half, and then bring Kent the second half.
So then Kent Austin will play the second half of this game, but say one thing for Dave Ritchie, he's not afraid to make any decision he thinks will help his football team. And now in the broadcast booth, here are Chris Cuthbert and Dan Kepley.
Thanks, Scott. Good afternoon, everybody. Down the stretch they come, a key game for both teams. Either could finish first in their respective divisions with 3 straight wins, so I think Dave Ritchie's coaching decision today a little bit surprising.
Well, I think it is surprising, Chris, but it could be either pay me now or pay me later in the sense of getting a second-string quarterback ready down the stretch in the playoff situation. Ken Austin's a little banged up, shoulder may be a little sore, or maybe if it's the old coach is wily a bit and he's just throwing a big roll the dice a bit, shake this offense up, get everybody focused completely on this ball game today.
Okay, some uncertainty about the BC offense, not about the defense, though. They've been tough all year, but we'll get a real test today.
Well, they certainly will. Offensively, when BC came into the season, I thought they would be very sound. Defensively, suspect at best, but they have really been the surprise through the course of this 1994 season.
Well, the test will come against the leading rusher in the league, Mike Pringle.
Well, exactly. Mike Pringle does a tremendous job for the Baltimore offense, both carrying the ball, but he is an excellent pass receiver, and he will test the linebacking core of the BC Lions today.
Well, you saw Pringle, an average gain of 6.1 yards per carry, but the defense of BC leads in that category, allowing just 4.4 yards, and Tyrone Chapman, the rookie, has been a big reason for that. Tracy Ham has had a big rebound year for Baltimore, and he has a great receiver from his old Edmonton days to rely on.
These are two guys that matched up a number of years ago. Chris Armstrong just did not get an opportunity to hook up the way that he would like to with the Edmonton Eskimos, but he has really found a home and found his groove with Tracy Ham and the Baltimore franchise.
Yet, Kep, I think he's in tough today against Barry Wilburn.
I tell you what, anybody that lines up against Barry Wilburn is in for a long day at the office. This guy eliminates one guy out of the offense every time he lines up. He's physical, he's tough, he gets in your face, he can run with you, and he's a very tough defender.
A couple of key matchups to watch for today as we send it back to Scott.
All right, Chris, what's not to like about the CFL's expansion into Baltimore, and what's not to like about a matchup of two teams still in contention for first place in the stretch drive? Stand by now for the kickoff between BC and Baltimore, live from Memorial Stadium.
For the most impressive things along life's highway, you need only look to nature. For the most impressive way to appreciate the view, you need only look to Acura. A sophisticated balance of performance, reliability, and quality craftsmanship. Acura, engineered in a driving sense to bring heaven a lot closer to Earth.
These are the mean machines. Watch closely now and you will see they can hurt you. They can cut you. These are the mean machines.
Trevor knows what it means to play safe. A year ago, he tried to beat the train. It cost him his arm.
Don't let it happen to you. Play safe.
A message from the War Amps of Canada.
In Baltimore, October football weather gets no better than this. Back with you now at Memorial Stadium as we head to kickoff. In Calgary last night, Stampeders beat Shreveport as the Pirates return to form. And so the Lions have to win today to stay within reach of the Stamps, although Calgary has the inside track on first place with 2 games to go. In an hour, the Bombers in Hamilton, kickoff in Winnipeg. Winnipeg's got the upper hand on finishing first, but Baltimore feels it's in control of its own destiny. If the CFLers win their remaining 3 games, including next week's with the Bombers here, they'll finish first. And now here at Memorial Stadium, we're underway. Chris?
Scott, first meeting ever between these two teams, and Donald Igwebike has kicked it off, and it will be Spencer McLennan fielding the bouncing ball at his 15-yard line. Specialty teams, a big problem last week for Baltimore. 2 players lost their jobs because of it, but good initial downfield coverage by Baltimore, led by their safety, Michael Brooks. And so the BC Lions will go on offense to start this game, led by Danny McManus, his 6th game of the year, but his first start kept 2-1 last year as a starting quarterback with the Lions.
But right now, I was talking to Don Matthews about, does it make any difference which quarterback you actually saw? He says, no, it doesn't at all. We're defensing the philosophy, not the quarterback. Basically, the same plays are for each quarterback, whether it's Austin or McManus.
And the first play from scrimmage for the Lions, a short gain for the fullback, Sean Millington. Tony Jackson, the running back, with McManus at the controls, and Kent Austin expected to see action in the second half. I have a feeling that will hinge a lot on what McManus does in the first half.
If McManus comes out and he just absolutely tears this stadium up the first half, Ken Austin will probably rest that shoulder or whatever the problem is for even longer. Give Danny McManus an opportunity. If he's having a hard time, you may see him get yanked after the first quarter.
Now McManus too long to get that play in. And 2nd and 7 or 8 just got longer.
Time count violation. BC number 14. Still 2nd down.
McManus's last action was September 17th against Edmonton. 4th quarter of that game at BC Place Stadium, and it was not a good one for Danny McManus. Steve Ritchie put him in trying to shake things up, but he went 4 for 10, 78 yards, but 2 big 4th quarter interceptions.
Even in that backyard of the Edmonton Eskimos, that's a tough place to play, particularly when you're trying to win something in the 4th quarter. They don't give up that victory very easy there. Very methodical. Both of these quarterbacks, very patient, excellent readers of defense, good, solid, quick releases.
Now play whistled in after an official's delay at the 21-yard line. It's 2nd down and 12 for the Lions. Empty backfield. Here comes the blitz and a flag down. McManus throwing downfield and overthrowing the intended receiver, Ray Alexander. But again, a flag down on the field. It's against the Lions procedure, and Baltimore will decline and force
Procedure. BC number 82. Decline. 3rd down.
Darren Flutie was the man penalized there, but it's declined so that the Lions will punt on 3rd down.
One of the problems that Don Matthews pointed out last week was his special teams. He wasn't very happy, let a couple of guys go, and that really does shake up a team when they go out there. Look for something big to happen today with this Baltimore specialty team.
Flag goes down as the Lions didn't give 5 yards. Lester Smith picked it up quickly, forcing the flag. Ricardo Washington looked like he was within the 5-yard restraining area after the 32-yard punt by Louis Passagle. And here's Tracy Ham. I mentioned a real bounce-back year for him in Baltimore after a disastrous 93 year. Good numbers for Ham. If he had one good memory from last year, it was against BC. He passed for 420 yards and rushed for 3 touchdowns against the Lions in a single game. So let's see if he can duplicate those numbers this afternoon.
Tracy Ham, just a fish out of water in that Toronto offense last year, but right now found a home, very comfortable, and he's surrounded by good, solid players also.
Great field position to start the game at the BC 49, and Ham looking for Walter Wilson, and he does make the catch. Wilson with the juggling act and the product of East Carolina. We had a little alumni meeting before the game, and Wilson wanted to show Dan Kepley that he would wear the school colors well, too.
I was very excited to get a chance to speak with him, and he says, yeah, you're that old linebacker. I've actually seen your picture in the Coliseum down in Greenville, North Carolina. But just check out the concentration. Ball's up in the air, never loses sight of the ball, takes a good look at it and squeezes it in. Patented Tracy Ham to come out and try to make a big play and something happen quickly.
33 yards on that play. Now Ham throwing to Pringle out of the backfield, and Mike Pringle is in for the touchdown. 2 plays, that's all it took for Tracy Ham and Baltimore to reach pay dirt.
We spoke of Mike Pringle and the asset that he brings to the Baltimore offense. Very strong as a running back, but what he does so very well is catch the ball out of the backfield. Gets matched up one-on-one against Tyrone Chapman, and it's just a foot race. Not too many linebackers are going to outrun that running back.
13th touchdown of the year for Mike Pringle, his 3rd through the air. And Igwe Bike gets the extra point. Didn't take long, first possession of the game. And Mike Pringle and Baltimore reach the BC end zone. It's 7-0.
Thrown way out wide, just far enough so there's no chance that anybody can make a play defensively on the ball. And Pringle does an excellent job of looking the ball in. And a very confident, a very happy Tracy Ham to make something happen very early in this ball game.
24th touchdown pass of the year for Ham. What a weapon Pringle has become. A fullback in Edmonton, and then he went to Sacramento last year, a fullback with the Gold Miners. This is the first year of professional football where Pringle has been the feature back, and he is now one of the top candidates for Outstanding Player Award honors in the Canadian Football League.
Chris, you really have to give your head a shake and scratch it to figure out why he's still not in Sacramento. I mean, this is the guy that comes in with 10 touchdowns, rushed the ball 243 times, coming in for 1,476 yards. And is just an integral part and such a weapon in that Baltimore offensive attack.
Igwe kicks it off, and it's Tony Jackson, the running back for BC. Big head of steam, and he is bounced at the 44-yard line, but a good return for the Lions. So Danny McManus will have good field position for his 2nd possession of the game.
I know how to learn. I know how to seize an opportunity. I know how to work with fire. I know how to mend a heart. I know the
We are Nesbitt Burns, Canada's largest investment firm, and we know that when it is shared, knowledge is power.
As your engine revs higher, the oil inside creates a hydrodynamic wedge, a protective layer that builds up and keeps engine parts separated. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines.
Look for Castrol's free oil filter offer at these and other leading outlets.
Welcome back to Baltimore. Nice shot of the inner harbor, not too far away from Oriole Park at Camden Yards, but we're at Memorial Stadium this afternoon. 40th anniversary of this grand old building, and the Lions, I think to a man, excited about the opportunity to play here and to use the old Colts dressing room where Johnny Unitas used to strap it on. Not too pleased with the start of this one, though. BC down 7-0. McManus going to work, looking in the air and overthrowing the intended receiver, Darren Flutie, working against an old BC Lion, Ken Watson, as we set the Lions offense for you this afternoon. Danny McManus with that veteran offensive line to work with. 47 years of experience in front of him. Ian Sinclair at center, Terrace and Bernopoulos at the guards, and Rob Smith and Vic Stevenson are the tackles. So it's 2nd and 10. Over the middle, and again looking for Flutie, but overthrows, and once again 2 and out for the BC offense with McManus at the control.
McManus surely wants to go out there and get some productivity on first down and not put him in that situation where he's 2nd and long, because all of a sudden this Baltimore defense will just pin their ears back and get after you very strongly, and McManus looks very uncomfortable sitting in the pocket right now so far this game.
3rd down, and Bisaglia back in with Hanley and Smith deep for Baltimore. And this will be Hanley at the 27. A flag is down in the backfield of the BC Lions, so we'll have to sort out the call, and it again will be going against BC, the most penalized team in the CFL. While they sort it out, let's go down and join Scott.
All right, Chris, over 40,000 at Memorial Stadium today. That's happened only once in any other CFL stadium this season, early September, when they had 50,000 at Commonwealth in Edmonton to watch the Stamps and Eskimos. But it happens frequently in Baltimore. Of the top 10 crowds in the CFL in '94, Baltimore owns 6, and there are some of them. Their best prior to today, 42,000 for Sacramento last month. They were hoping to break it today. They're talking 45 to 50 for next Saturday's first place showdown with Winnipeg. So come to think of it, this may not be the flagship of expansion franchises, Chris. It may be the flagship of the CFL, period.
I'll tell you, Scott, great fans here. Kepley mobbed as he entered the building today, signing autographs, and I mean, they're well aware of the tradition in the league, and talked about Calgary and Hamilton last week. What an entertaining game that was. It was holding against Sean Millington, so Bisaglia kicking again. Got a better kick and pretty good downfield coverage by the BC Lions.
Chris, a better kick, better coverage that time, and actually Baltimore lost about 12 yards on that return.
One of the fears Dave Ritchie had coming into the game was the afternoon start. They come 3 time zones across the continent to play this one. Here's the Baltimore offense for you. Big offensive line. They average about 300 pounds down the line. Neil Fort is 330 pounds. Robert Clark had a great year in Toronto last year. You saw the good catch by Wilson. Sean Beals, formerly of Calgary, and Chris Armstrong, the former Eskimo, are the receivers for Tracy Ham. First down, plenty of time, and now Ham pulls it down, and he is pulled down across the line of scrimmage. The tackle made by Angelo Snipes.
Sprint out throwback, and the BC defense does a solid job of really covering the receivers in the back end, forces Tracy Ham to have to pull the ball down, reload it again, but not before Angelo Snipes gets a chance to close in on him. Put Tracy on his back.
Gain of 6 for Ham at 2nd and 4. And you'll see Baltimore operating a lot without a huddle, and Ham assesses the defensive look and then makes his call at the line. left side. Pringle trying to get outside. Mike Pringle, deceptive speed, and he gets to the corner. Tom Europe came across to force him out of bounds, but Pringle will move the yardsticks.
The forte of the BC defense is linebackers that can really run, but if you do not have defensive linemen that are going to force up, as in Stewart and Scribner, to make containment, to force that running back inside so those linebackers can chase and make the grab. Wilburn, the addition in the secondary, it really does strengthen an already very strong secondary.
Dave Ritchie says he's got the youngsters at linebacker and the graybeards in the secondary. First down, him again to Pringle, and he's wrapped up as he crosses midfield. Glenn Scribner, who's having a terrific year, the Canadian at the defensive end position, made the stop. He was one of the Lions yesterday whose eyes were lit up as he was in the Colts dressing room. Gain of close to 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6. Tracy Ham calls the plays for this Baltimore offense. Ham threw the ball before Armstrong had even turned to look. And Barry Wilburn right there for BC. It'll be 3rd down.
Tracy comes out a lot of times with his hurry-up, huddle, no-huddle offense. Empties the backfield out. Once you get a 3-snap read, got the read that he wanted, and that's a matter of getting Armstrong right on the same page as what Tracy Ham is reading.
So that brings Josh Miller into the game. Rookie out of Arizona who leads the league in punting. An average punt of 43.1 yards. McLennan is deep. First quarter, and Baltimore with the lead. Left footer sends it downfield. McLennan fighting the sun. And good coverage. So we thought the message from Don Matthews would get through. So far, good specialty teams play by Baltimore.
Home theater with big picture and powerful sound. It's where the future of television is taking you.
It's here. It's extraordinary. It's a UFO. It stands for Unearth a Fabulous Offer. Right now, you can get instant savings. Save up to $100 on selected RCA TVs and camcorders. Only at your RCA dealer.
Mom, why does it rain?
Because the clouds get full of water.
Why does Uncle Rick's breath smell funny?
Well, maybe Uncle Rick doesn't take very good care of his teeth.
Why not?
Some people just don't. Maybe they don't know about things like gum problems or going to their dentist.
Okay. Mom, where do babies come from?
How about some more dessert?
Avoid gum problems. See your dentist.
Back in Baltimore, CFLers lead by 7. There's Les Brown, one of the more verbose members of the BC Lions. The team spent a lot of time on damage control this week. They feel losses to Saskatchewan last week and won to Winnipeg prior to that were the direct result of penalties. So, Chris, they've taken a vow of silence coming into this game, a pledge to say nothing after the whistle, although I wonder if that's physically possible for some of their players who do have an awful lot to say.
Their chances of completing the vow of silence, I think, are less than winning the football game this afternoon against a tough Baltimore team. Tony Jackson with a carry for a good gain of close to 8 yards for Jackson, replacing Corey Philpott.
Takes a good look right inside the eyes and the helmet of what Alfred Payton sees. And since his addition to the Baltimore defense, he has been very active of pursuing guys. Led the league last year with 22 sacks when he was with the Winnipeg great blue ball.
Second and a couple for Jackson, who is stopped at the 25-yard line, and that will be close to a first down. Robert Pressbury, the defensive tackle who played for Don Matthews in the WLAF, makes the tackle. And this will require a measurement. Matthews made an interesting comment yesterday. He said that at the start of the year, BC was a running team. Now it looks like they're a passing team, and I wonder if the BC offense might have an identity problem right now. Just short of the first down by a couple of chain links.
I don't think the identity is there. I think at some point when you get a guy like Corey Philpott who started off out of the blocks as fast as he did, and for whatever reasons is just not living up to the precedent that he set and the standards that he had set for himself, then all of a sudden that you keep changing guys in the back end, and you've got some really solid receiving corps. The Fab Four guys are back together again. That's Alexander, Flutie, Trevathan, and Clark. Actually, that shows you the faith that Coach Ritchie has. He's put Clark on the outside, and they're actually playing an American short on the BC roster.
They're down in inches for McManus, who gives the ball to Big Sean Millington, and Millington bounced outside and has the first down.
Sean Millington on the run. Picking up 2, about to do it on the stop.
Well, we talked about that veteran offensive line, and you mentioned the 4 receivers. Sean Millington and Tony Jackson are in the backfield. What a year for Darren Flutie as he is approaching personal best. 4th in the Canadian Football League with 84 catches, 1,277 yards. First and 10 BC after their initial first down of the game, and McManus overthrowing Mike Trevathan. Bringing up second down.
A comment you made about Coach looking at this offense of BC, thinking that they've changed their philosophy from starting to be a passing offense to a running offense, then a running offense to a passing. The one thing now they have to do is learn how to complete a pass out there, or else they're going to be forced to rush this ball all afternoon.
Yep, 0 for 4 for McManus to start the game. Tough to make a living at 2nd and 10 all day. McManus now looking over the middle and almost picked off. Tracy Gravely, former BC Lions, playing outside linebacker for Baltimore, stuck the hand up and knocked the pass down. Flutie had got in behind the linebackers, but Gravely made the play.
The emergence of this new outside linebacker, which is just an oversized defensive back. And Gravely just does a terrific job. He was always a very physical defensive halfback, but now he can play that outside linebacker position. And when you see a guy like Gerald Bayless up front, that veteran offensive line is doing a good job of keeping him out of McManus' face.
Saglia's kick fielded by Lester Smith. And Smith slipping on the turf here after a 5-yard run back, 39-yard punt by Louis Pasaglia. Virgil Robertson made the tackle. Well, one of the favorites of Don Matthews, Louis Pasaglia. Yesterday, Matthews wanted to make sure the Baltimore media knew all about the great veteran in his 19th year, Louis Pasaglia. Also wanted to make sure everybody knew that Matthews used to beat him pretty regularly on the racquetball court.
Yeah, Coach has a little bit of pride. Not a lot, just a little bit there that he likes to show off every now and then. Pretty good racquetball player.
First down, quickly out in the flat. That's the big fullback who lines up sometimes as a receiver, Peter Tuipulotu. Been prepping for a full day to get that game out.
We got a couple out here that's going to be a little testing for us there.
Out of Brigham Young University, a fullback who's a terrific receiver, and Don Matthews won't hesitate at lining him up at receiver positions. Got a first down. Again, without a huddle, Baltimore operating with Gracie Ham calling the audibles from the shotgun. Stands in and throws the ball, almost picked off. Charles Gordon, closest man to the ball. And right now it doesn't look like Ham and Armstrong are on the same wavelength.
Tuiapolotu is one of those backs also. As I say, they split him out wide, then they try to get the BC defense a mismatch. But in this case, they didn't. They switched up. They left Les Brown on the outside. Really messed up Tracy Ham's read, and then they played zone behind it and almost came up with the pick.
4 receivers left side, 2nd and 10. Ham rolling, gets away from one, throwing downfield. Incomplete. He was looking for Robert Clark, and it's incomplete. Clark last year had his best game against BC with 10 catches.
Tracy sprints out. Now, Les Brown comes from the outside, has a chance to get after him, but it shows that you just got great athletic ability by Tracy Ham. You need to break down, settle down, grab a little cloth, and you're able to let your pursuit come in and help you, and then you got a big sack.
4:45 to go, first quarter. It's 7-0 Baltimore on a touchdown pass from Ham to Pringle.
Thanks a lot.
And Josh Miller into punt. Good high punt, and McClellan inside his 5. And he is nailed immediately. Alvin Walton, the former Washington Redskin, back in the lineup.
Stopped by Alvin Walton.
Where do you want to go for lunch?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
What do you feel like?
I don't know. What do you feel like?
I'm not going to decide. It's time to go back.
We haven't eaten lunch yet, have we?
Hey, Jim Horton!
What tire do you trust in the wet? The tire that removes over 2 gallons of water per second from under the tread. The Wet Traction MX4. Another engineering splash from Michelin.
Get connected. Think yellow. Get connected. Think yellow.
The Michelin XH4 tire comes with a 130,000-kilometer tread wear guarantee. That's 3 times around the world. A long way, no matter what circles you travel in.
Alvin Walton started for the Washington Redskins at strong safety for 6 years. Got back in the Baltimore lineup this week because of the poor specialty team play by his team last week in Edmonton, and Walton making an impact here against McLennan.
And I'm talking about a solid impact, nicknamed Dirty, but there's nothing dirty about that. Just all desire. They hustles down there, gets down there, and then technique of making a really good, solid tackle.
And it's back the Lions up inside their 10. First down, McManus throwing the quick out, and he has a completion. That's Ray Alexander at the 15-yard line.
Complete to Ray Alexander.
And a pickup of close to 7. Irvin Smith, the rookie from Maryland, with the tackle.
Well, that pass certainly didn't look like very much, Chris, but what it does mean is it just instills a little bit of confidence into the quarterback, Danny McManus.
Ball at the BC 15. It's 2nd and 3. And the pitch, left side, Jackson has a hole into the open field, and Tony Jackson gives BC some breathing room. Michael Brooks, the safety, finally with the tackle. But a 17-yard pickup for Tony Jackson.
This is a tough defense to run against, but all of a sudden you see Gerald Bayless run around the center Sinclair. That opens up the gap. They seal off the linebackers. And Jackson has tremendously quick feet. He's able to break up through the seam, pick some spots, pick some daylight, and more importantly, pick up some big yardage.
Second start for Jackson. He's 5'8", 182 pounds. This time they fake the pitch. McManus rolling right. Gerald Bayless in pursuit, and there's Derek Flutie with the catch. And Flutie up to the 45-yard line has another Lions first down. Gravely and Watson bringing Flutie to the turf.
Darren Flutie one-on-one against Ken Watson. Watson just overplays, takes a peek into the backfield, allows Darren Flutie to slide back inside. McManus has just enough time with the foot speed to break outside of containment, find him set down in the open area, and hit him for the gain.
Now 5 catches and 46 yards shy of his personal best. Quickly, McManus over the middle. Alexander got a hand on it, but he was well covered by CFL veteran Carl Anthony. Here's a look at the lineup with Peyton, Brigance, and Bayless all among the sack leaders last year in the CFL. Matt Goodwin, a rookie who Don Matthews is very high on, and outside linebacker, and Watson, Anthony, Charles Anthony, all have CFL experience in the secondary prior to this season.
They started building this franchise right from the main brick. It was built correctly. 2nd and 10,
and McManus looking for Alexander, throws it out of bounds. The heat was coming from the safety, Michael Brooks.
It was very simple on this case. That Danny McManus and the BC philosophy, they go with an empty backfield set. He's back there all by himself. There's 5 guys up front to block. Then all they want to do is bring the safety, Michael Brooks, outnumber him 6-5. That should be the guy that's not accounted for in the blocking scheme. That should be the guy that puts the heat on, as he just did.
Bisaglia on 3rd down. And it's Canley from his 25. Wrestled down at the 31. Brian Ford, reserve linebacker, with the tackle after a 41-yard Louis Bisaglia punt. Let's join Scott.
All right, Chris. Well, Danny McManus moved the team on that 4th offensive series of the game for the BC Lions, and that was a step in the right direction. You recall that Dave Ritchie said to us at the start of the game, Kent Austin will play the second half, and he said no matter what. I asked him afterwards if there was any chance Austin would come on in the first half, and he said absolutely. So if Danny McManus doesn't poke some points here quickly, I would say we'll see Kent Austin by the 2nd quarter.
Minute 10 to go. In this first quarter, Pringle, the ball carrier, up to the 35, has 4. One of the amazing things about the Pringle season, he underwent arthroscopic knee surgery in August and really didn't miss a beat.
And that in itself is incredible. I mean, back in the old days, and I'm talking about days that I've played, I mean, some of that stuff you're going to be out for 5 or 6 or 7 weeks. But with the techniques medically these days, these guys go in, they get it scoped, they're back running within 2 or 3 days.
Tuipulotu is stopped coming out of the backfield. Great play by Tony Collier, who comes in on 2nd and long as an extra deep back, and he has Tuipulotu stopped short of the first down.
Gets to be a bit of a chess game. Now, if they're going to take Tuipulotu out and move him out as a wide out, rather than taking a linebacker and set him out there, BC may come back in, put in that 6 DB, set him out there, then they've got themselves covered.
Josh Miller on 3rd down for Baltimore. Is McLennan. Found a little seam and gets it up to the 33-yard line. Robert Drummond makes the stop. 48-yard punt, an 11-yard return. Late in the first quarter. And Danny McManus and the Lions down 7-0.
Things I've noticed that Danny McManus and also Ken Austin in this BC offense likes to do is come up, get quick reads, release the ball hot if they're not rushing the ball. The chess match against comes with Don Matthews' defense playing off a little bit and forcing McManus to have to hold these balls a little longer than he wants to.
Jackson switching direction, but not fooling Alfred Payton.
Stopped by Alfred Payton.
Payton stopping Tony Jackson behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Will be second and long for BC when we return to Memorial Stadium.
Before we met Richard and Marcia at Home Hardware, our house was about as cozy as this place.
Weather stripping, insulation.
We'll save you energy and money.
Warm, friendly advice.
And don't forget, a great price.
Like this Makita 3/8-inch variable speed cordless grill with keyless chuck and case, only $87.97.
No matter what the job, knowing a home dealer can come in handy.
Watson, there's more to these Canada savings bonds than meets the eye.
Let's see. Safe, cashable anytime, good interest.
Here's something distinctly new. They pay 5 3/4% the first year, 6 3/4% the second year, and 7 1/2% the third year.
You mean?
Precisely. Canada savings bonds now offer a 3-year minimum rate guarantee.
Brilliant, Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Take the mystery out of investing with safe, cashable Canada savings bonds. Buy yours today.
The new Ram pickup features a frame design so strong it's been patented. Its optional rear step bumper can pull 5,000 pounds by itself without the help of that frame. The tie-downs in back are so strong they can support the weight of the entire truck. We overbuilt this pickup because we were sure you'd never underwork it. Dodge, reinventing the truck.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Dodge Trucks, reinventing the truck.
Welcome back to Baltimore as we get set for the second quarter at Memorial Stadium. The city will be the host of the 1997 Grey Cup. First time in history that the National Classic will be played outside the borders of Canada. For the first time ever, there will be a home playoff game in the United States in the CFL. Baltimore has clinched at least home field for one game, and in that great battle with Winnipeg for first in the East as we start the second quarter. Second and 15. McManus hit as he delivered the football, and fortunate that one wasn't picked off. Alfred Payton bearing down on Danny McManus.
Payton uses his assets and that speed. He just runs right around Vic Stevenson. Good quick move inside, creates separation, and then closes the gap on Danny McManus.
Since Alfred Payton joined Baltimore, the defense has allowed 134 yards fewer per game. Sack totals are not high, but he has made an impact on defense. Hanley across the 50 and across midfield. Bounced out at the Baltimore bench, but once again, Baltimore with great field position. Let's check the numbers through the first 15 minutes, and it was a big first quarter for the defenses.
Well, it was. Both of them went out there and are struggling, and I think they showed that they haven't seen very much of each other. This being the first meeting, coming out and trying to fill each other out, and it really hasn't been productive offensively. But if you like defense, and I have a kind of a preference for that, a little bit. I have a little bit of a priority with that. You got to think that these guys are playing pretty solid out there on both sides of the ball.
Nice pick by Ham. Naked bootleg. Snipe trying to chase him down, and Ham runs out of room and steps out at the 46. Gain of about 7 for Tracy Ham.
The exclusive bus transportation company of the Baltimore CFL football club.
Good look at Don Matthews on the sideline. Now he informed us now he's a pure vegetarian now. He's going to live healthier. He's got so much energy, and he just doesn't know what to do with it. But he's excited about it, lost some weight, and he said, if I'd known it was going to be this good, I'd have done it years ago.
Saw you consulting about diet?
Well, we were consulting about diets, but there was...
Ham calls his own number on 2nd and 3, and will have the first down at the 42-yard line. third among rushers in the CFL among quarterbacks. 12th overall and approaching 500 yards rushing on the season. The only Canadian quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season. And there is the owner and architect of this great Baltimore team, Jim Spiros.
Chris, you talked about the Grey Cup coming here in '97. If it's anything like he has orchestrated this first year of franchise, it will be something to be remembered.
Tracy Ham just missing. Walter Wilson streaking down the left side. They've had trouble getting the ball to the wideouts in recent weeks, and Ham would like to get Wilson that open again.
Don Matthews felt it was very important for Tracy to try to get the ball to the outside guys. He did not want to get condensed down just to inside the slots. He wants to force BC to have to play defense across the whole width of this football field.
Wilson, a Baltimore native. He wanted to make sure all was well with our visit here. 2nd and 10, and they call Pringle's number, and he has a hole. And oh, a great tackle, saving the first down by the safety, Tom Europe, when it looked like Pringle was into the open field. It'll be 3rd down, and about a yard to go, and the fans want Don Matthews to gamble.
Look at the linebackers in the blitz coming. Now it's just the counter tray, the trap, and all Pringle has to do is break that initial point of attack, the line of scrimmage, and he's running right into the secondary. The only guy there to make the tackle, and did make the tackle, was Tom Europe, the safety.
Ball at the 33. They've got to get to the 31, and they give it to Pringle left side, and it's going to be close. This will depend on the spot. The Lions defense thinks they've stopped it. We'll get a measurement and come back to Memorial Stadium.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
I know how to learn. I know how to seize an opportunity. I know how to work with fire. I know how to mend a heart. I know the way of numbers.
We are Nesbitt Burns, Canada's largest investment firm, and we know that when it is shared, knowledge is power.
Back in Baltimore, where the Baltimore offense remains on the field. They got it kept by about an inch, and Tracy Ham will get another series of downs after Pringle just got the first.
It was just by probably the width of the stripe painted on the ball. That may have been some thick paint on the ball that allowed them to pick up that first down.
But back to Pringle, tries short side of the field. Great burst again, and he accelerates down the sidelines, finally pushed out of bounds. Another first down, and he is flashing his outstanding player credentials this afternoon. And 20-yard pickup from Mike Pringle. Barry Wilburn finally forced him out.
Counter trap and the big tackle, Neil Ford, nicknamed the Big Cuz, gets out in front of him, and he just shows that he has great, quick feet. Coach Matthews felt today that we had to highlight him. We had to establish Mike Pringle in this running attack today.
Lions number 2 against the run coming in. Rush on Ham, flag down. Ham gets the pass away, incomplete.
Look for a holding call inside on Baltimore.
Tracy Ham pass intended for Peter Tilly-Peludu. They have a flag on the play.
Also will be a flag against the Lions in the end zone.
Holding, Baltimore number 51. Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, BC number 26. Repeat first down.
Nick Subas, the center, called for holding, and Dave Ritchie is not happy with the fact that Charles Gordon was called in the end zone. So it's first down over.
We forgot to ask Coach if he had fallen into that trap of making that vow of silence also.
At the 12, hand off to Pringle, deep in the backfield. Terrific play by Henry Newby. Dropping Pringle for a loss.
Henry Newby has been just a standout so far this season, and as that play was really slow developing again, no one's going to block Newby, not get into his face, not stop him at all, and all he's able to do is cross the line of scrimmage, then get down the line of scrimmage in pursuit, and he has tremendous speed to be able to make that tackle from behind.
2nd and 13. Pringle lost 3. He has 42 yards so far rushing. And quickly over the middle. Incomplete, looking for Armstrong. Hasn't been able to team up with his leading receiver so far. And that brings up 3rd down. A little frustration for Tracy Ham.
Tracy coming with some heat. Tracy not looking very patient sitting back there, throwing the ball quickly, I think, before he really wanted to, and before Armstrong had a chance to make that break. Safety was out of the middle. And all Armstrong had to do was get down the seam and then favor right to the center where the safety had vacated.
Igwe Bike, 9 for 9 since being brought back to Baltimore. He was cut at mid-season, missed 2 games. It's 10 for 10 since his return. That one, no problem, and Baltimore expands its lead to 10-0. Scott?
Chris, it's a doubleheader weekend for us on the CFL on CBC. As you see, Baltimore leading by 10 here, and tomorrow the Eskimos 11-4 and led by Eddie Brown, who's got 17 touchdowns in the midst of an all-star season, are at Skydome in Toronto to play the Argos. Of course, the Argos 6-9 and on the verge of clinching their first playoff berth in 3 years. That's since they won the Grey Cup Championship. It's been that long since they've been in postseason play. We'll have the telecast again 1:30 Eastern tomorrow.
Baltimore losing in Edmonton last week, 31-24. Don Matthews was very disappointed with the effort of his team. Looks like they've bounced back far more to the coach's liking this afternoon.
Well, it was really one that he felt had gotten away from him, and there's nothing better than a coach that has coached in the city to go back and haunt that team again by beating them. But he felt that his special teams just did not play up to par, and he was not making it as far as the big plays that he needed offensively to beat the Grey Cup champion Edmonton Eskimos.
Of course, last Saturday afternoon on CBC, you saw Kent Austin's return to Saskatchewan. Dave Ritchie's team losing that game. He hoped they were in an ugly mood this afternoon, coming off that loss. And
if they have anybody on this team that gets as fired up about a game prior to the game and during the game as their head coach does, they have a really good chance of beating Baltimore this afternoon.
He had his game face on yesterday. That ball bouncing down the sidelines and out. And Baltimore will say that one of the up men for the Lions touched the ball, and I believe that's the ruling. I think Mike Trevathan may have got a hand on it. Matter of fact, Kep, we asked him, is there anybody on the team that gets as intense as you? And he thought about it a while and said maybe it is Mike Trevathan.
Yeah, that's exactly. That was the name that came up. Now let's take a good look at the kick as it goes across. The left hand, right there, that could be Mike Trevathan that got a hand on it. Spencer McLennan just didn't see that happen and let the ball run out. Now it is 1st and 10.
McManus starting deep in his own zone again, and this pass is picked off by Irvin Smith at the 32-yard line. Darren Flutie was the intended receiver, but that's a terrific interception by Smith, his 5th of the year.
But a great reaction to the football by the young corner. Comes back inside. We're just catching the tail end of it there. But what he did, he allowed Ray Alexander, his player, to go down the field. I'm sorry, that's not Alexander, that's Matt Clark that he let go run by. Took a look at the quarterback, then played the ball and came back and made the big pick.
3 men in motion to the right. Pringle following them. Tripped up near the line by Les Brown. Pringle's momentum took him to the 30 for a pickup of a yard or 2.
Les Brown on the stop.
Now, this is a bit of a new experience for Les Brown. He's used to being out there on the corner running guys down that are chasing patterns. But here he comes up just at the bottom of your screen, and he forced really strongly from the outside, and all he had to do was just get a piece of the leg of Pringle. That's all it took to make it 2nd and about 9.
Barking the play. Baltimore continues to operate without a huddle. Here comes the initial pressure. He gets outside Snipes. Now throwing downfield. And Robert Clark can't hang on. Charles Gordon gambled a bit looking for the interception.
Brings up a 3rd.
And Clark had it go off his hands incomplete. Snipes with a little hit on Ham just to let him know that he might catch up to him later on this afternoon. But it'll be 3rd down.
Tracy's very patient, able to get around Angelo Snipes, who gets head up to him. Then almost a Houdini circus catch is taking place by Robert Clark. Just not able to squeeze it and bring it in.
Correction, that was James Jefferson in coverage for BC. Igwe attempting a 37-yard field goal. And it's off the upright. A break for the Lions, who need one. Midway through the 2nd quarter, they trailed by 10.
What happens when a viper sheds its skin? Presenting the new 300 horsepower V10 Dodge Ram. The first truck that lives up to the name. Pickup.
From Hollywood Pictures, they've come here to invade our minds.
They override the human nervous system.
To take over our bodies. And once this terrifying invasion begins, there's only one man who can stop it.
How many are you?
Get it off him! Get it off!
Donald Sutherland, the Puppet Masters. Whatever you do, trust no one. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspaper for showtimes.
Unbeatable sports value and entertainment is just ahead.
I'm coming to get you.
The NBA is on the way.
Where's Vancouver?
When the big-name stars step on our home court, be there to greet them. Order full or half-season tickets or an 11-game Grizzlies jam-packed now and get the seats you want for fast-paced NBA entertainment.
The feeling. He did it twice last Sunday night in Ottawa. Igwe hitting the upright on this 37-yard attempt.
Solid distance, good, long, then he gets it to lead, and just doesn't get the break.
Ball automatically dead and spotted at the 25.
On the 25-yard line, 1st and 10.
McManus just hasn't had good field position to work with in his first start of the year. Tony Jackson trying to get outside, caught behind the line of scrimmage. That's the rookie, Matt Goodwin, who the folks in Baltimore feel is a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year out of Iowa State.
3rd on the team in tackles. He's 1st on the team in special team tackles. Has 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, 4 fumble recoveries, 4 block kicks. This guy is all over the field. Tremendous speed. And the twin brother of the middle linebacker, Malcolm Goodwin, number 55.
Yeah, Yeah, opponents think they're seeing double, and they are. In the case of the Goodwin boys, here's McManus over the middle and overthrowing Ray Alexander. And Danny McManus now is 2 for 12 and just 20 yards.
Well, Coach Ritchie wanted to see how he was going to perform under a stress situation. I think he's getting a pretty good test of it right now. And I wouldn't be too very much surprised to see if that statement he made about seeing Ken Austin in the second half really come true.
And now Austin, we notice, has picked up the football and is limbering up as Bisaglia sends the punt downfield. Hanley across midfield, met by Chapman, but still is able to push his way inside the 50 as we rejoin Scott.
Chris, I'm sure. All right, Chris, I'm sure that everybody agrees that after $1.2 million in upgrading, 40-year-old Memorial Stadium looks great, but Jim Spiros and company aren't stopping. They've got major renovations planned. They're going to rip out this mezzanine deck and install luxury boxes, and they've got the installation of a new scoreboard in the end zone in the books. They've got a $500,000 grant from the governor this week. That was a major step forward because the governor, until this week, had wanted nothing to do with the CFL in Baltimore, Chris.
Here's Tringle bursting off the right side for a game that's likely to come back. We saw some early movement by John Earl, the right guard of Baltimore, and that will negate the Pringle gain.
Procedure, Baltimore number 86, repeat first down.
Well, I called John Earl, but Robert Clark has been found to be guilty by the officials, so it will be first down 15.
Well, you get close. So it's a normal mistake. Clark is 5'10", about 180, and Earl goes 6'5", 300. It really is a natural mistake for you, Chris.
Well, Clark gets the ball and drops it. Sam calls his number, so it's been a tough series for number 86.
And that's one time that 86 thought it was John Earl. Wish it was John Earl that was catching the ball.
Just to follow up on Scott's comments as we watch Clark miss one he should have had. Jim Spiros feels that the $500,000 is nice, but the fact the governor has now endorsed this team should really open up the corporate support for Baltimore, and they've already done well in that department. Ham in trouble. Snipes gets to him, and down he goes. Way back at Baltimore's 48-yard line. The sniper gets through for his 9th sack of the year. And this defensive struggle continues.
Baltimore likes to put the offense. Now he's got 3 receivers to his right and only 1 receiver, which is Clark, to the wide side of the field, 1-on-1 against James Jefferson. They figure that could be an easy mark and maybe be able to have a lot of grass to work with out there. Jefferson climbs up, does excellent coverage, shuts it down, and that allows Angelo Snipes to get in for the sack.
Flag down as Miller puts it up. Spencer McLennan. Hasn't been much running room on returns. Now Wilburn into something with Ken Watson. I think the vow of silence has ended.
Right there, shots have been fired. The truce has been lifted.
47-yard punt, 5-yard return. And penalties to be marked as Wilburn cools off. We'll be back to Memorial Stadium after this.
To taillights, mufflers to spark plugs, tires to transmission fluid, inside, outside, top to bottom. Canadian Tire has you covered. Because we have the experience that comes from servicing over 10,000 cars every day and more than 65,000 auto parts and products, which means we help maintain more cars than anyone. So whatever you need, from floor mats to a tune-up, come to the one place with everything, Canadian Tire. There's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
Fourth quarter. Ball on the 5. Down by 6. 3 seconds to play. The pass. Sports action. Get it right. Win money. You like that. It's something to brag about.
The story at Memorial Stadium, late second quarter, Baltimore up by 10, and Kent Austin is into the game. So Dave Ritchie not even waiting for the second half. Danny McManus unable to move the offense, so the number 1 guy is back in. But it's an equal opportunity for Austin. McManus didn't have good field position, and Austin has terrible field position to start inside the 10 after a holding penalty on the punt. But Austin quickly, with the first completion, there is a flag down as Alexander gets across the 20. He would have a first down. Let's wait for the call.
Chris, the advantage that Kent Austin has had is the fact that he's been over there for over a quarter and a half, being able to physically look and see what this Baltimore defense is trying to do, so he has a better concept.
BC number 77, first down.
A better concept and philosophy when he goes out there where he'd like to attack right at the late of the second quarter.
It's Mike Trevathan called, and now the ball back at about the 3.5-yard line. Third highest scoring team in the league's been shut out so far. Quick hitter, Darren Clooney trying to get outside. Can he turn the corner? He's knocked out of bounds. Gravely and Watson in pursuit. That'll give them a little breathing room as they mark the football at the 13.
Rudy, the third receiver on the trip side to the wide side of the field. Just a little hitch screen. Matt Clark, the wide out from that side, comes all the way back in and makes a good block, and that allows Flutie to be able to get outside. That is a pattern that is normally designed to go inside and straight up the gut.
Here comes the rush on Austin, and they got him back inside the 5-yard line. They sent the safety, Michael Brooks, and O.J. Brigance, the former BC Lions, celebrating the sack. And there haven't been many to celebrate this year in Baltimore. Came into the game tied for last with Shreveport, just 21 sacks. Make it 22.
See the empty backfield set. No one's around. No one's to pick up the safety. Brooks comes in, forces Kent Austin to have to draw the ball back down to reload, and by that time, O.J. Brigance is on his back.
Not a good kick by Pasaglia. It's a decent bounce. Hanley dropped at the 38-yard line. That's Ricardo Washington with the tackle. Well, we mentioned the lack of sacks by players like O.J. Brigance this year. This was the story last season. 53 sacks between Peyton, Brigance, and Bayless. Just 11 this year coming into the game.
Coach Matthews, his only reply to that was, the only thing that matters to me is the end score. The numbers at the end is what matters. That sacks and everything else can take care of themselves along. All we want to do is win.
Pringle looking for a hole, and as soon as he sees it, he surges through and down near the 30-yard line. And a pickup of 8.
Good trap inside. Now they pull the center. That's Nick Subas that comes around after he makes the snap, gets out in front, and second and third and fourth effort by Pringle.
On the 30-yard line, second and 3.
Meanwhile, Armstrong and Gordon battling upfield. Pringle will try the other side, has the first down. Flag goes down, and it's another good Pringle gain that will be negated.
Now by Virgil Robertson, when you have a flag on the play.
It'd be holding against Keith Ballard.
Holding. Baltimore number 68. Repeat second down.
Sharp Ordenash is The left tackle called on the play. People of Baltimore feel he has been their best offensive lineman this year and will likely get the nomination from this team in that category.
Coming into this game, had only given up 1 sack through the course of the '94 season.
So it's second down again. And 13. And quickly gets it to Drummond. He's got great speed, wide open field, and he'll dance into the end zone. Robert Drummond. 41 yards, and Jim Sparrows and the Baltimore fans celebrate the second touchdown of the game. That's his first CFL touchdown. Drummond out of Syracuse. In just his second game. And Don Matthews likes what this guy can do. He's got great speed.
Pitch screen comes back inside. Now watch everybody start picking up players downfield. Neil Ford, the tackle. John Earl, the guard, comes out there. No BC defenders in pursuit or even inside of the screen whatsoever. And this is a guy, Drummond, who has legit 4.4 speed, has been clocked in the 100 meters at 10.3 seconds. He can pick them up and put them down.
Yeah, that time was in high school, 10-3. And he now has his first CFL touchdown. Big lead for Baltimore.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
Hey, take a look at this. 720 dots per inch, black text at 5 pages per minute. Add the best replacement guarantee in the business, and that ought to save a few lives. Well, well, what have we here? Full color. Now that's whet my appetite. The new Canon BJC 4000. You know you need it. Why not pamper yourself?
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Dodge Trucks, reinventing the truck.
Baltimore expected a crowd in excess of 40,000 this afternoon, and the fans enjoying what they see. Robert Drummond adding to Baltimore's lead with his 41-yard catch and run.
Everybody doing their responsibility. Robert Drummond doing a good job of looking the ball in. That's the toughest catch to make when nobody's around you. And then turns it straight up the field. And the shortest distance that I go on is a straight line. And he made it there very quickly.
Iggy picks it off, and it's Spencer McClellan. Finding a hole, and Spencer McClellan into the open field. A flag down about 20 yards behind him. And this one is going to drive Dave Ritchie crazy because the flag nowhere near where McClellan was running the football.
Chris, that flag, if called against...
Well, Baltimore was offside on the kickoff, but it will negate a 44-yard return.
Jake Allen going over and to have a conversation with Captains Les Brown and Ken Austin. But that penalty they just got, it was 10 to 15 yards behind the play. There was absolutely no chance for that Baltimore defender to make a play on the ball.
Offside. Baltimore number 39. Holding. BC number 21 will repeat the kickoff up 5 yards.
Dave Ritchie's team 188 yards shy of the single-season penalty record held by the 92 Saskatchewan Roughriders, coached by Don Matthews. That's not a record that you cherish. And now they'll kick it off again, and the difference in the penalties means that Igwebike will kick off 5 yards up at the 40.
Well, I don't think that's going to make a lot of difference to him because he has a really strong leg. What's going to happen and make a difference to Coach Matthews is the fact that coverage team, guys getting stacked up and getting in the same lanes, and that's what allows a big return. They've got to spread out and cover this field.
James Jefferson's back this time. And he finds some room down the near sideline, so the Lions able to string together two back-to-back good kickoff returns, this one without a flag. Ken Watson finally forced Jefferson out. 36 yards for Jefferson on that return. And Austin back out, and for the first time he has decent field position to work with. Under 3 minutes to go, second quarter, 17-0. Baltimore leads BC. Lions 6-1 against the East this year. Flag down as Austin fakes and now delivers over the middle. Nice catch, Darren Flutie. Stopped at the Baltimore 45. First time they've been in Baltimore territory all afternoon. Let's wait for the flag to see if it'll stand.
I think they're going to call offsides against Alfred Payton, number 56. It looked like he got called in the neutral zone. Ken Austin continued with the plays, and Flutie, watch the concentration and the real grab as he goes out there. Boom, quick glue right there.
Offside,
lifts the ball in.
Baltimore number 56, decline, first down.
And picks up a big first down, Chris.
It was Payton offside. The game stands. Flutie now 86 catches and over 1,300 yards on the season. And the Lions need to put some points on the board here in the first half. Austin has them moving, looking deep, looking for Flutie. Derek Flutie, and he's just out of bounds inside the 10. Flutie getting behind Ken Watson for a 37-yard pickup.
Good protection up front, allows Ken Austin to sprint to the corner, sets up, and then he finds Darren Flutie on the post corner route behind Ken Watson. Steps out at about the 8-yard line.
From the 8-yard line,
second series of the game for Austin, and he has the Lions on the move for the first time in this first half. Austin 3 for 3, 66 yards, now looking into the end zone. Alexander, touchdown!
Ken Austin's pass.
Well, Ken Austin is back. And the BC Lions are in the game.
Quick thinking and quick heads-up play by that quarterback, showing a lot of his versatility. Comes up, he wants to throw the ball to the left very quick. He comes back to the slot, and that's Flutie on the inside. He's covered solid, then he comes and he throws it right to the corner, low and away from Carl Anthony, and that allows Ray Alexander to make the grab for the major.
Well, Flutie made two big catches in the drive, and then Austin finishes it off, going to Alexander, his 5th touchdown catch of the year. And Kent Austin reasserting himself as the #1 man in BC. Tried to get in the head of Dave Ritchie, and you know, maybe he thought it through this far, that if McManus couldn't get it done, it might take some pressure off Austin, might be a wake-up call, and Austin's responded. Payton with a late hit, but Austin's got this team right back in the game.
Ray Alexander's 5th touchdown of the season came into this game with over 1,100 yards in reception. They need a real serious threat on the outside, somebody that demands respect, and that opens up the whole throwing lanes on the inside for those other 3 guys.
Ball going out of bounds, and they'll have to kick it over again. There's 2 minutes, 17 seconds to go in the first half, and a 10-point Baltimore lead. Let's join Scott.
All right, Chris, on Live at the Half today, we're going to have up-to-the-minute highlights from Winnipeg, where the Bombers are playing Hamilton. They began about 20 minutes ago. Check this out. Ticats have scored in their first 2 possessions. They lead 14-0, and so now the Bombers will have to play from behind, and maybe the Ticats win over Calgary last week was the awakening they've been waiting for. Also on Live at the Half, some easy steps to CFL success is told to us by the Baltimore CFLers. What has this team done that other expansion franchises in this league either could not or would not do? We'll find out on Live at the Half.
Tell you what, Don, Southern seems to be reshaping that Hamilton team. Big upset over Calgary last week and showing signs of life in the East. Against Ottawa and Toronto for those last playoff spots. Another flag down on the return by Pringle. Some teams don't use their premier running back on kickoff returns, but Pringle is the leading man in the league in kickoffs.
Holding, Baltimore number 4. First down.
Alvin Walton is called for holding, Chris. And again, that was the play that took place after Pringle had already passed him. So penalties are killing both of these clubs right now. Walton really excited getting back on the roster this game.
It's the third good play by Pringle today that's been called back by a penalty. Should mention that Don Matthews sent a film of last week's game with a critique to the officials stating that on at least 22 different occasions flags should have been thrown in that Edmonton game. Well, apparently the officials are listening to Matthews today and calling more penalties. I don't think that's what he had in mind, though.
I think it may be. Timing is everything, and Coach Matthews has been very methodical and very precise with his timing.
He was upset, though. Just 12 penalties called last week. He felt a few times there were late hits on Ham and Pringle that were not called. For the first time, he says, in his career, he sent a tape to the league office. It's 2nd and 4, and the give to Pringle up the middle, and he breaches out across the 40 and will move the yardsticks. Mike Pringle out of Cal State Fullerton. What a school that has been for the Canadian Football League. Stopped on the play by Chapman. But Cal State Fullerton also producing Damon Allen and Alan Pitts. So that's a pretty formidable offense that the school has supplied to the Canadian Football League.
3 of the biggest names in the CFL.
They're all outstanding player candidates this year. Look at the time. A lot of steamboats for Ham. Throwing downfield. And wide open is Armstrong. Chris Armstrong finally stopped by Tom Europe. But Armstrong could have been lonely downfield. There was nobody around him, and he has a 46-yard pickup for his first catch of the game.
Armstrong's got to be the most surprised guy in this whole stadium to be standing there wide open all by himself. Between the penalties and blown coverages, BC is just shooting themselves right between the eyes. Armstrong just waggles out, takes off deep down the field. Now, the one thing that Tracy Ham has an enormous amount of time to throw the ball. Armstrong finally throws his hand up. Tracy's able to find him, and there's nobody around. Take a look. Nobody still comes in the picture.
First down, Ham throwing, looking for Wilson. And a nice defensive play by James Jefferson in coverage.
Broken up by James Jefferson.
All-Canadian in 87 and 88 with Winnipeg in his 9th professional year. Boy, Ham is going against a veteran secondary. Jefferson 9 years, Wilburn 10 years as a pro. Charles Gordon 4 years, Les Brown 11, and that was a good play by Jefferson.
There's probably not a tougher coverage to have to play than one-on-one with no inside help. The guy breaks to the post, and you've got to close ground and be able to make the play across his body without interfering with him. James Jefferson did an excellent job on that play.
2nd and 10. And over the middle, there's Armstrong. Touchdown! Well, Tracy Ham and Chris Armstrong shredded that veteran secondary on that drive. 22-yard pickup for Armstrong, 50th touchdown of the year.
If the term late bloomer ever applied, it may be for this fellow after his 4th year coming in. Just a tremendous effort. I should say 3rd year that it is. 2 years with Edmonton and then this is
Igwebike adds the extra point. Well, it had been a quiet first half for Chris Armstrong until that series. But he made up for lost time. First the 41-yarder, then the 22-yard touchdown pass.
Jamming inside, now get off, now they play the zone. But that's number 96, that's Virgil Robinson, the linebacker, that he able to allow Chris Armstrong just to go right around, gets up the seam, no help behind, and Tracy Ham doesn't make mistakes on that very often. And in this case, 6 points in the major.
And Ham with 3 touchdown passes in this first half. Against a solid BC defense that's number 2 in the league against the pass and number 1 in yards allowed.
And another little connection to North Carolina, Chris. I have to say, now he played at Fayetteville State. He's from Fayetteville, North Carolina, which isn't very far from where I am also, where I was born.
You're working for the Chamber of Commerce?
I'm working for, maybe running for the mayor of Fayetteville, or maybe something like that. The Chamber of Commerce would be good.
Jefferson mishandles it and is in trouble. Nothing on the return at the 25-yard line. That's where Austin will come back to try and get the Lions a little closer with 53 seconds to go in this first half.
We mentioned earlier in this game, in the telecast, that Don Matthews made a couple of changes and guys lost their job because they didn't get the job done on special teams. And he's not afraid to do so. He actually said, I'm putting some of my starters back on there. They've got to play defense or offense, and they've got to play special teams because we're getting down the stretch. We're getting into the playoff run, and I have to have my best players on the field 60 minutes to give myself the best opportunity to win a football game.
Just thinking, former player Jim Spiros puts a team in Baltimore. A guy with your money could put a team in North Carolina.
You know something, I would if the NFL just had not granted that Charlotte Panthers, that Carolina Panthers thing. I was right there. I had the money to cash all up on it.
Austin just got the ball away to Tony Jackson. They're ruling no catch, and 2 markers down in the backfield.
Face mask, Baltimore number 57.
O.J. Brigant's got a piece of Austin's face mask as he was bearing in. Boy, it looked like Jackson made this catch, but clearly not.
Good angle there, shows it all. Then right in the middle, as O.J. Brigant comes around, he's working one-on-one against Todd Burdick. The right tackle reaches the hand out, tries to grab some cloth to Ken Austin, but instead gets the face mask.
That's Gerald Bayless, who's a little slow to get up. Great CFL veteran.
Sorry, Chris, but Gerald's been hampered a bit this year also with both the knee injury, and also he's had a problem with his bicep.
Former Lion. He played under Don Matthews in Saskatchewan. Top defensive player in the country last year. And Scott Miller will come in to spell Bayless with 53 seconds remaining in the first half. It's 24-7 in favor of Baltimore, and BC would like to nudge a little closer before they go to the locker room. First down, Austin under pressure, down he goes. Second sack of the game. That's the second sack for the former Lion Brigance, who looked like he was tackled by Furtick, but still managed to bring Austin to the turf.
tried to make that correction. Burdick's playing the left tackle, and he just allows O.J. Brigance to go inside. And once you allow a guy with that kind of speed to get inside of you and be able to chase somebody down, you either got to grab him and hold him to protect your quarterback, or a sack takes place.
Here's Austin, second and long, through the hands of Jackson. Rob Smith has moved from left tackle to left guard, and Chronopoulos is out of the game. Dave Ritchie telling us that his offensive line is banged up.
Good look at Rob Smith there. This is his 14th season, 35 years old. 1992 CFL's most outstanding offensive lineman. Comes out there and tries to give you honest day's work and 150% effort every time the ball snaps.
Zaglia kicked that one straight up and out of bounds at the BC bench. So a rare shake for Louis in just his second punting game of the season since a knee injury in August. And Dave Ritchie's team in danger, falling further behind before the half is out. 23 seconds left, and you wonder if he just didn't try and hurry that, knowing that Baltimore has blocked 7 kicks this year.
Coach Ritchie standing on the sideline, giving his head a shake, trying to figure out what other things can go wrong when your most veteran ball player and production guy all of a sudden shanks one out, as in Louis Pasaglia.
Another flag down as Walter Wilson has the catch and is down to the 37-yard line. This one's coming back. Tracy Ham went over.
Baltimore number 68. First down.
Bordanish for the second time this afternoon called for holding. Tracy Ham went over 25,000 yards last week, and today has passed Conrad Holloway on the all-time yardage list into 10th place all-time. Takes the Pringle, rush on, and Ham in trouble, just gets it away, and there's the flag, intentionally grounding the football. There wasn't a Baltimore player in the neighborhood.
There was the receiver in the area. There is no infraction. Second down.
Apparently there was. Drummond might have been within 10-15 yards, but I think Ham got a break.
Well, you have to define the boundaries of in the vicinity, and that vicinity can stretch pretty wide sometimes. The one thing I thought they may have called it was that he was in the grass, and they would call him down. They do a good job, that they, mean the referees and the officials, are protecting the quarterback, so why would that not be a case?
Drummond was on the same field.
Yeah. He had to buy a ticket to get on that field, but he was there.
Second and 20, and Ham flushed out. Robertson in pursuit. Ham looking deep, looking for Wilson, and he dropped the ball. Oh boy, that could have been 7 more. You don't expect a guy from East Carolina to drop that one.
Oh, that's a good shot right there, huh? You've been waiting kind of all game to try to get that one back at me. The guys from East Carolina, they try to make the tough catches, but that was just way too easy. Right at the last minute, Jefferson starts to stumble. It's an easy pitch and catch, and he just doesn't look the ball in. Doesn't catch it with his hands, lets it come off his shoulder pads, hits him right in the chest, and bounces away. That's when he knows he should have had. Nickname franchise, by the way.
Not the first East Carolina to nickname that. Flag down on what would have been the final play. Another flag going down. Referees had a workout in this first half.
Flag at the line of scrimmage, and one down where the punt was fielded.
Both against Baltimore, and no danger of Don Matthews complaining about a lack of penalties in this game. Time is out on the clock. And I would think Don Matthews is got to be pretty happy about this first half and the way the offense has.
Offside, Baltimore number 38, declined. No yards, 5-yard penalty on the bounce. Baltimore number 4, first down.
That was Walton, the second penalty, and Ken Benson, the former Argo, called for offside. But I would think the ability of Don Matthews' offense to put up the big play and score 3 times in the first half has
No time remaining on the clock. This is the final play of the half.
been of consolation here this afternoon.
Well, a couple of big plays only, though. They really did not march the ball down this BC defense's throat. Defense hung in there, kept getting the ball back into McManus's hand. He just wasn't able to do anything.
Austin on the final play out to Alexander. The cut back, and looked like the Lions had a little razzle-dazzle in mind, but the time is out. Alfred Goodwin making the tackle on the final play of the first half, and the coaches head to the dressing room, and Don Matthews' team clearly with the upper hand. It's a 17-point Baltimore lead as we send it down to Scott.
Okay, Chris, the first 30 minutes of this game, another piece of evidence that Baltimore's blueprint for expansion is the one to follow. The CFLers have the lead. Stand by now for Live at the Half from Memorial Stadium.
Now at McDonald's, Monopoly is more than a game. You can play it for real. You can win real money up to $100,000. Here's a better idea. You can win a real Ford. The brand new 1995 Ford Contour or Mercury Mystique. You could win these exciting real video games from Sega. See McDonald's for rules. Pull these tabs and stick to your saver board. So go to McDonald's and play Monopoly for real today.
When you choose a career path, you seldom know where it'll take you. That's why you need training that gives you as much flexibility as possible, and an education that prepares you for every eventuality. If you're interested in a career in financial management, management accounting, or public practice, the Certified General Accountants program gives you a choice of options, no matter what challenges you face or how high you want to climb. Certified General Accountants, real solutions for the real world.
I know how to listen. I know how to seize an opportunity. I know how to bring life into the world. We are Nesbitt Burns, Canada's largest investment firm, and we know that when it is shared, knowledge is power.
Dear Honda, I looked at your new Accord EX, but I bought a 94 Oldschieva. Why? It's a great car with V6, airbag, anti-lock brakes, air, and more. All this value priced. And during closeout, I get an even better deal. That's almost $6,000 less than the sticker price on your Accord EX, and I haven't even seen your 95 pricing. Sorry, Honda, but what could I do with an extra $6,000? I'll think of something.
Demand better. Today at your newest BC Chevrolet dealers.
Through 30 minutes on a made-to-order day in Baltimore, it is Baltimore by 17. Welcome, everybody, to Live at the Half. Well, pray tell, where is it written an expansion franchise has to wallow in mediocrity? Nowhere, I guess, as far as the Baltimore CFLers are concerned. It's a charmed life this franchise is leading. Those trying to sell three-down football in Baltimore have done virtually everything right. The Baltimore CFLers are on one of the fastest tracks in pro sports expansion history. Memorial Stadium is built on a solid foundation, the same kind Baltimore's tried to build its CFL team on. The first building block was a young owner who had a vision that included respect for the Canadian Football League.
I made that decision early on. I was going to hire an experienced coach in this league, not like some of my counterparts that hired American coaches. I think that the strategies in the game, there's enough difference that you've got to get a CFL experienced coach.
So Spiros is joined in the foundation by the sixth winningest coach in CFL history, but the CFL knowledge of Baltimore didn't stop at Don Matthews. He brought help from Saskatchewan.
possible to hire an experienced staff, bring in an experienced personnel guy who understands what kind of athlete can succeed in the league. And then if you've got strong ownership like Jim Spiros and allow the football people to do the football work, I think then you've got a chance to be a good football team.
Don Matthews' first player decision was his most important. He phoned free agent quarterback Tracy Ham, who was itching for a fresh start away from Toronto.
Often you do see expansion teams, you see them getting the wrong type of players for the game. But Coach Matthews and his staff have gone out and gotten players who they felt would be successful in the CFL game.
Everyone here has a common goal, and that's to win and to be successful. We had not planned to use an alibi that we were first-year expansion team. We knew that we had veteran players that had been the Grey Cups, we have divisional all-stars, we have MVPs on this team, so there was no reason for us not to be successful in our first year.
We expect the person that's out there playing to make the plays, not to accept the fact that we're an expansion team. I mean, we're just a football team that's in a new city, you know, and that's how Coach Matthews has asked us to look at it, and I think that's what we've done.
The superstructure of the Baltimore franchise includes the most rabid fans in the U.S. Only 8 months into the team's existence, they're already being rewarded.
Say, hey, listen, this is a new franchise. We got to live with them. We got to grow with them. We got to watch them grow. They did that back in the 53, 54 era when the Colts came back from Dallas to the Dallas Texans to become the Baltimore Colts again. And it took them 3 years to really be competitive. And I think that the fans of Baltimore have given us that opportunity, but we've given them a fringe benefit right now. We've given them a championship caliber ball club.
And I feel in my heart that the Baltimore team is going to do for the CFL what it did for the NFL, which is essentially put them on the map.
They're a natural winner. First season, going to head to the playoff. I mean, just like everything else in Baltimore, they come here and they're winning. We're supporting them.
People are going to call them the Colts no matter what the NFL says. And so you can call them the Baltimore no-names if you want to, but they'll always be the Colts to us.
When expansion was over at this time last year, I knew NFL football is not coming back to Baltimore. And it was time for us to take our head out of the sand and move forward so we could have a franchise here that we could call our own. And the people have embraced us and they've supported us. Next year at this time, this place will be filled with 55,000 fans.
The end result of laying such a solid foundation, on November 12th, Baltimore will host its first pro football playoff game since the NFL Colts played Oakland here 17 years ago. And Baltimore, as you can see, is just the 8th true expansion team in major pro sport to qualify for the playoffs in its first season. No NFL or Major League Baseball team has ever done it, and the 4 hockey teams hardly count, as they were all in an expansion division in 1967. So with playoff qualification out of the way, first place is the next goal, and the CFLers could use a break from the Cats, who are underway against the Bombers in Winnipeg. Will go there next when Live at the Half continues from Baltimore.
Civic Coupe from Honda. Now that you've come this close, why not save your next quarter and drop into your Honda dealer? Discover the SO Tiger. Spirit of service.
British Columbia Ford and Mercury dealers wanted to demonstrate how tough their F-Series trucks are. They said, well, we could have 6 sumo wrestlers jump up and down on them. I said, just tell the people it's been the best-selling truck in North America for 27 years. Then they said, well, we could have an F-Series tow a locomotive and 10 loaded cattle cars from Cache Creek to Revelstoke. And I said, guys, drop it, okay? Very funny.
For everyone who's ever had someplace to go and knows the pitfalls that can happen on the way, there's Cantel's very practical and very affordable Amigo Safety. The first cellular phone priced for anyone who knows the value of staying in touch. It's only $19.95 a month with no upfront charges. Cantel's Amigo Safety, affordable peace of mind. Like anyone who's always on the go, you'll be happy to know there's Cantel's very portable Amigo Personal. The first cellular phone priced to keep you in touch almost anywhere you go with anyone you want. It's only $29.95 a month with no extra charges for local calls on weekends. Cantel's Amigo Personal, affordable peace of mind. See these fine stores for details.
Baltimore, it's halftime of a critically important game for the CFLers, who are well past the notion an expansion team should be happy just to be in the playoffs. Baltimore's got designs in first place, but then so do the Bombers, who are engaging the Ticats at Winnipeg Stadium as we speak. They kicked off there about 40 minutes ago. So here's the latest now from Winnipeg Stadium. A good start to this game for the Hamilton Ticats on the first play from scrimmage. Reggie Slack hooks up with Earl Winfield. 56-yard touchdown play, 7-0. If that didn't wake the Bombers up, another major by the Cats should have. Reggie Barnes on the plunge into the end zone, 14-0 Hamilton. That touchdown came in the next series after Winfield's. The Bombers answered. Matt Dunnigan to his favorite receiver, Gerald Wilcox, to get Winnipeg on the board, but then Reggie Barnes late in the first quarter on a 5-yard rush to extend the Ticats lead to 21-7, and now I understand the Ticats have just added a field goal to make it 24-7, the first quarter just over in Winnipeg. So pending the outcome of this game in Baltimore and a come-from-behind win by the Bombers, they'd be in first place by either 2 or 4 points. Winnipeg's easiest route to first place is to win its remaining 3 games, including the matchup with the CFLers here next week. Same goes for Baltimore, except the CFLers would have to win next Saturday's game by at least 8 points in order to break a first-place tie with the Bombers. That's because Winnipeg beat Baltimore by 7 in late July. Well, Baltimore's prospects of finishing first in its first season is one of the amazing success stories in the CFL. Another is Alan Pitt's assault on Terry Greer's 11-year-old record. Last night in Calgary, the Stampeders back on form after losing to Hamilton last week, but then so Freeport Pirates back on form after winning their first franchise game. Stampeders scored early and often on the receiving end of Flutie's passes. Pitts was unstoppable, caught 9 for 126 yards, so now with 113 catches and 1,853 yards on the season, Pitts is 150 yards away from Terry Greer's immaculate season of 2,003 yards.
Main thing is that we won tonight. We played fairly well. We're back on the right track, feeling good again. We got a little time off now, so I think, we'll be good for the next game.
52-8, the final in Calgary last night. Pitts padded his numbers, and the Stamps ran the CFL's best record to 13-3, and that reduced the Lions' chances of finishing first to an outside shot. They'd have to hope Calgary stumbles against Hamilton next week, and then BC would have to win today, beat Vegas next week, and then win a first-place showdown with Calgary in the season's closing weekend. But don't count out Edmonton for first place either. The Eskimos play in Toronto tomorrow afternoon. We'll have the telecast at 1:30 Eastern. So it all makes an interesting discussion. It's nice heading into the final few weeks of the season not to have the final placings of on conclusion. And Chris, I would suggest the BC Lions are hoping that this game is not on.
Well, Scott, last year the Lions struggled down the stretch in the regular season, and it looks like they're into some more problems, losing 3 of 5 and now trailing by 17 at the half. It looked like it would be a defensive battle, but Baltimore has 24 points at halftime.
Well, all of a sudden, but it hasn't been marching it down the BC Lions' throat. Actually, it's been a couple of big plays that have taken place. BC's defense has come to play today, and also Baltimore's defense has come to play. So I like the turnout that has happened, but when they can turn it on, as Tracy Ham is doing, he's got a lot of weapons to throw to.
Yeah, Tracy had initial success in the very first drive. They cap it with a touchdown to Mike Pringle.
Well, he does, and they come out and they wanted to showcase Mike Pringle early, and they get an opportunity to do so. When he gets a chance to get the ball in the end zone, Mike Pringle does a great job of it.
Okay, there was a long pass from Tracy Ham, and then Pringle, who we talked about as a running back, but he is a great weapon for them out of the backfield.
Well, he does it all. He blocks extremely well, he's got great speed, and he's got super hands out of the backfield. And when they can mismatch him against those linebackers, really the BC linebackers can't run with him one-on-one. He takes advantage of it, comes up with the major.
So Mike Pringle, an early score. What about Danny McManus and Ken Austin?
Well, I think that it was a trial, it was a gamble, and it was something that Coach Ritchie felt he had to do, was to try to give Danny McManus some playing time. Obviously, he may see right now that Danny McManus needs a little more playing time. Get with Ken Austin, go in there. This is your steady guy. This is the guy to go to. This is where the team hopefully is going to rally around. Defense is going to play tough for him. Receivers know him a little better, and he's a guy that comes up with the big plays.
17-point lead. The Lions have a long way to come back as we go back downstairs to Scott.
All right, Chris, both teams need to win to keep alive hope of 2 home dates in the playoffs. That should be all the motivation both require. Do whatever it takes in the second half, and the second half kickoff is next, live from Baltimore.
One person buys a car, call it a fluke. A couple of people buy the same car, maybe they're friends. A few hundred people buy it, could have been a sale or something. But when over 300,000 people buy the same car, it's more than a coincidence. It's a success. The 1995 Altima from Nissan, now available for $299 a month.
Where do you want to go for lunch?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
What do you feel like? I don't know. What do you feel like?
I'm not going to decide. It's time to go back.
We haven't eaten lunch yet, have we? Hey, Jim Horton!
Hey, take a look at this. 720 dots per inch, black text at 5 pages per minute. Add the best replacement guarantee in the business, and that ought to save a few lives. Well, well, what have we here? Full color. Now that's whet my appetite. The new Canon BJC 4000. You know you need it. Why not pamper yourself?
There's a new kind of space travel, engineered for shipping non-hazardous liquids in a new form of energy-saving container. One that holds 5 times the volume of steel drums and takes 20% less shipping space. A corrugated container that is so efficient, it not only uses recycled fiber, it is recyclable, reusable, and biodegradable. Spacecraft. Another innovation by Macmillan Lavelle, making the most of a renewable resource.
Back in Baltimore and ready for the second half of this afternoon's game, which sees the home side up by 17 starting the third quarter, and they will receive the kickoff from Julio Caravata and Mike Pringle, the leading kickoff return man in the CFL. And the leading all-purpose player is back to accept the kickoff. Pringle from his 11th. Across the 30 and a flag down on the Pringle return. Brian Ford was the tackler for BC.
Chris, it could be going back. It looked like Michael Brooks got caught up and may be called for holding.
Holding. Baltimore number 17. First down.
Mr. Kepley's keen eye correct again. It is Brooks, the safety. As we check the first half numbers. And clearly a significant edge to Baltimore. One interception thrown by Danny McManus. And the one stat not there is field position. Although Baltimore starts deep here, they've clearly had better field position throughout the football game so far, as Pringle carries the ball up to the 20-yard line. Tyrone Chapman, the rookie linebacker, with the tackle.
Field position complemented by really solid defensive play, forcing BC to have to punt the ball. But then when they did punt, the one phase of the game that Coach Matthews was very upset about, special teams started to produce.
2nd and 5, and Pringle is drilled by Chapman. That's a big hit by the middle linebacker out of Arkansas, 5'8", 220. And he got a clean shot at Mike Pringle.
Tyrone Chapman could be just the inspiration for every undersized player, a guy that just doesn't think that he's big enough, that you can play in this league, you can play in this game. It's a matter of not whether you don't measure in height, but you get to measure the size of that guy's heart right there. And at 5'8", 220, he hits like he's about 6'5", 245.
Miller and his punt is blocked. And in the end zone, it's going to be, no, it rolls out. Sean Foodie with the block, but they could not pick it up in the end zone.
They're sitting there talking about it right now. But BC really let one get away there. Foodie comes in. Great block on Josh Miller's punt. And then Ray Alexander has a hard time getting possession of the ball, and it rolls out the back of the end zone.
The ball was blocked through the end zone. Possession was not gained in the end zone. The ball was last touched by BC. They have selected first down at the point of last scrimmage.
So a big break for Dave Ritchie, but it could have been even better.
Look at the way that Sean Foodie sails out in front of the point of the block point, in front of the kicker, doesn't make any contact with Josh Miller. Okay, here we go. Excellent effort by Sean Foodie coming back, the backup safety, hoping to be the starting safety until he was injured early in the part of the season.
Here's Tony Jackson taking the handoff down to the 15-yard line, even close to 7. Matt Goodwin, the tackle.
A major case now when BC gets a big break like that, they have to capitalize on it. It will be, I would suspect, almost part of a disappointment and part of a failure if they don't come away with a major score here and get them back into the game early in the third quarter.
2nd and 4, quickly, out it goes to Alexander. Ray Alexander driving, touchdown. Well, Alexander did not get it in the end zone when they blocked the punt, and he makes up for that by getting it into the end zone via the pass. It's his 2nd touchdown catch of the game, and Ken Austin has been razor sharp. It's a 15-yard touchdown from Austin to Alexander.
The hitch screen, a favorite play of both of these teams so far today. And the key is the inside slot getting the block, and then the guard and the tackle from that side getting out there and getting up front, clearing out, and being in a service that escorts Ray Alexander into the end zone.
It has been a different football game with Kent Austin in at quarterback. Boy, Alexander feeling a whole lot better because you're right. If they don't get in the end zone, they're thinking about that missed opportunity on the block punt for the rest of the day.
Mike Trevathan gets out there from the slot. He makes the first block, and then also Vic Stevenson and Jamie Terrace come across. And Ray Alexander makes, no doubt, looking the ball in, getting it up the field.
2nd touchdown pass of the day for Austin, 23 on the year. And Matt Clark, the snapper, the long snapper, is being attended to on the field. different complexion to the game because now it's a 10-point lead. We've seen BC score on 2 of its last 3 possessions, and Ken Austin adds a different element to this game.
Well, he really does. I think the defense knows for a fact, and they've had the confidence. We go out there and stop them 2 and out, get the ball back into Ken Austin's hands. He has an opportunity to put some points on the board. Defense came out in that first series against Tracy Ham, shut him down, got him into a punting situation, and then the specialty teams took over.
Arvetta kicking it off. Once again, Mike Pringle from his 16. Pringle run out at the Baltimore bench from the 33. Brian Ford again is downfield first for the Lions. And as you mentioned, yep, this is a big initial series for Tracy Ham and for the Lions defense.
Well, they didn't have any success the last time they came out there on their first series, so it's important, so important now, just in the confidence of this Baltimore team, to go out there, make a few first downs, keep possession of the ball, and make a few things happen offensively.
Baltimore just 4-3 at home this year. Lions 4-3-1 on the road. Look at Ham, lots of time, and now he'll sprint off with it and is pulled down at the 42-yard line. Andrew Stewart chasing him down, the big defensive end.
Now this is a big man. Stewart goes in about 6'5", 265. This is his second year. Played a little at Ottawa last year. Had an opportunity to come to BC this year. Very strong man, very powerful man, quick. As you can see, the speed that he did of chasing Tracy Ham down from behind.
Second and a couple for Pringle up the middle, big hole, and he runs right over Barry Wilburn. 18 yards for Pringle.
Mike Pringle giving notice, you better not come up here with anything weak. You better lower your shoulder on me because I'm going to lower it on you, as he just did and just absolutely ran over Barry Wilburn.
There are Pringle's numbers today as he is approaching his 7th 100-yard day of the season. First down for Ham. Standing in. Tuipulotu has a catch at the 45 of BC. It's a gain of 6. Henry Newby with the tackle.
The Lions contented to play good, solid zone coverage behind it, force them to have to throw the safety valve pass out to Tuipulotu, and then just react up, shut it down, not give up the big play.
2nd and 4. Pringle won't get there. Stopped at the 44.
Mike Pringle on the carry.
Just a yard on the carry. That'll bring up 3rd down. 4.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. It's 24-14 Baltimore. Igwebike has not made a field goal from outside the 50 this year. And so they are sending the punter, Josh Miller, in.
James Jefferson and Tony
This would have been a 51-yard attempt, but apparently that's out of range.
Josh Miller.
Don Matthews electing to back up BC.
Igwebike's longest field goal coming in was 49 yards, Chris.
Rush on again. Miller gets this one away, but not deep. Tony Jackson up at the 20, so not a great punt. Into a slight freeze. Charles Anthony with the tackle for Baltimore.
We asked some of the hottest guys in town to trade their deodorant for Degree deodorant.
Let's give it a shot.
As your body heat rises, only Degree releases extra protection against odor.
I'm going to stick to Degree. Stuff works.
Degree deodorant for a higher degree of odor protection.
You'd think running a restaurant would be headache enough. Imagine making a commercial about it. Now there's an extra strength headache. Extra strength Anacin. Extra strength for your worst headaches.
Moms are always on call, and they've learned from doctors and pharmacists that Robitussin DM is the way to treat coughs due to colds for the whole family. Almost. Robitussin DM, recommended by Dr. Mom.
During the Mazda clear-out, you cannot pay full price.
Yes, I'd like to pay full price on that rather sexy MX-6 Mystère.
I'm sorry, sir. We'll have to force you to take a mandatory $3,000 discount.
Then let me pay full price on the 626 Kronos. That's a great family car.
Impossible. The 626 Kronos also comes with the mandatory $3,000 discount.
But what if I want to pay more?
Well, then you should head to the competition.
We asked some of the hottest guys in town to trade their deodorant for Degree deodorant.
Let's give it a shot.
As your body heat rises, only Degree releases extra protection against odor.
I'm going to stick to Degree. Stuff works.
Degree deodorant for a higher degree of odor protection.
The latest from Winnipeg Stadium, Reggie Barnes on a 6-yard rush in the second quarter puts the Ticats up 31-7. How happy is Reggie Barnes to have been rescued from Shreveport? And tell you what, Chris, they're loving this score here in Baltimore because the CFLers have a legitimate chance now to end this day tied with Winnipeg for first in the East Division.
The Reggie Barnes story, similar to that of Mike Pringle, guy used out of position at fullback, and once he becomes the featured back, boy, what a difference it makes. And Darren Flutie with a big gain, but dropped the football, and Baltimore is on it. Carl Anthony with the fumble recovery after Darren Flutie has got the ball up across the 45. O.J. Brigance hit Flutie from behind, and Dave Ritchie sees his team turn the ball over for the second time this afternoon.
The hitch screen, both of these teams are looking out of the same playbooks. Darren Flutie doing an excellent job of maneuvering his way down the field, but he just doesn't see Ken Watson coming from the outside and strips the ball loose. And Carl Anthony is the man that comes up with the big turnover.
So Brigance has enjoyed his afternoon against his ex-mates. And at the 48-yard line of BC, Tracy Ham and the Baltimore offense right back on the field. Ham rolling right. Looking across field, and he threw against the grain and almost threw it up for grabs. Sean Beals, who has not caught a pass this afternoon, the intended receiver.
Probably a pass that Tracy Ham would like to have back again. That's not very patented, Tracy, the way that we have seen him throw the ball. Good coverage in the secondary by BC. And maybe Tracy was just throwing into an open spot, throwing it in the vicinity again rather than taking the sack out of the loss.
Just thinking about Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, it seemed like all was lost after blowing the leads against Toronto and Edmonton, 2 with Calgary, a game with Winnipeg and Saskatchewan left, but they are on the verge of another huge victory this afternoon. 2nd and 10. Boy, Ham's been able to stand in there and now picks up the receiver, Walter Wilson, down the sideline. So Wilson walks the tightrope into the end zone. Flag down.
Flag down behind the play, Chris.
48 yards, but will it stand? Doesn't look like it.
Tyrone Chapman's doing a little clapping back there. Look for it after the catch.
Illegal block. 86. First down.
Robert Clark. Tell you what, Wilson did a great job of staying in bounds.
A chance for Wilson to redeem himself after that ball ricocheted off of his helmet. But you can see right there, there's not really any need for that play right there. If you can't get your helmet in front, you can't hustle enough to get up and make a good solid block, don't take a chance on the penalty.
Charles Gordon was clipped. Here's Mike Pringle. Through the arms of Newby, and Pringle will score! What a run by Mike Pringle! Put that one on the highlight tape for Mike Pringle. Definitely a CFL outstanding player candidate.
That's an exciting run by that running back. 5'10", 190. Nothing but power. But you can't arm tackle this guy. Look at Newby. He gets up, he wraps up, and he tries to grab him with his arms. He doesn't get his legs. And his thighs really that into him where he can really hit the guy. Pringle's able to run right through that and continue moving his feet. Baltimore kicks the extra point. Score now Baltimore, 31.
Mike Pringle held to just 32 yards a week ago by Edmonton. Back with a vengeance here. 16 carries, 115 yards, a touchdown on the ground, and a touchdown through the air.
Newby works well. Right down the line of scrimmage, he's there perfectly. Wraps the guy up, makes the tackle. Wilburn comes in, throws an elbow and a shoulder in there. Last time I realized you can't make tackles with your shoulders and with your elbows. You got to wrap up and grab a hold of some cloth.
Jake Shaders has a shot here, too. Watch 74.
Shaders knocks him right through and knocks him right past Barry Wilburn. Great athletic ability and balance by Mike Pringle. Keeps his feet moving, gets his bearings on his directions, and smells the goal line.
That is not typical of a Dave Ritchie defense. So it's a 31-14 Baltimore lead. 8:40 to go, third quarter.
All came about by another miscue. A fumble by Flutie that allowed Baltimore to capitalize.
Tony Jackson from his 12. Jackson trying to reverse his field and is down at the 30. The safety, Michael Brooks, who's been busy on specialty teams, makes the stop. BC with a tough road to climb.
One person buys a car. Call it a fluke. A couple of people buy the same car. Maybe they're friends. A few hundred people buy it. Could have been a sale or something. But when over 300,000 people buy the same car, it's more than a coincidence. It's a success. The 1995 Altima from Nissan. Now available for $299 a month.
It's Grey Cup 94 and Vancouver's throwing a party.
Hi, I'm Bill Comrie, owner of the BC Lions. We're excited about hosting this year's Grey Cup. The citywide festival includes tailgate parties, casinos, nightly dances, family day, CFL player awards, and of course the Grey Cup dinner. At the Grey Cup game itself, you can win airfare to Japan, a 7-day cruise, or even a brand new Chrysler Neon. Tickets start at just $50. Come join us.
Call Ticketmaster or 1-800-GREY-CUP.
Hi, welcome to Subway.
Subway isn't like those fancy New York steakhouses. No stuffy maitre d' or jackets required.
Great vest. Thanks.
But we do have A1 steak sauce. It's on Subway's new A1 steak and cheese. Slices of tender, juicy, seasoned steak topped with the great taste of A1, plus all the fresh fixins you like. And at Subway, you don't get a big bill. You get change. Subway's new A1 steak and cheese. Appetites are required. Jackets aren't.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Chris Gethard along with Danny Kepley, Scott Oak, and our CFL on CBC crew. Baltimore fans enjoying this one as they've enjoyed their initial season in the Canadian Football League. Well, Ken Austin has been sharp in his short time in this game. But down here, third sack of the game for Baltimore. Malcolm Scholl just into the lineup. Robert Pressberry was there as well.
And they're having fun.
Yeah,
these guys out here, the wonderful thing about playing football at any time, when you go out there and you can kick somebody's can and you can have fun doing it, and that's what that Baltimore defense is doing. In the back end, the secondary's good coverage, and those front four guys are putting the heat on.
Second and long. Dumps it off. There's Flutie. Slips and falls, but gets back up. Has the first down, but Austin's down, and so is a flag.
Back on a late hit, probably to Alfred Payton.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Baltimore number 56. First down.
And the time Ken Austin comes up into the pocket, sees Flutie open downfield.
From the 51-yard line.
Slips, tries to get up, but he's covered up by Watson. right after the play, but then the play earlier in the penalty was on Alfred Payton, a late hit. You just have to be disciplined. You can't take stupid penalties to hurt your team.
That moves the ball all the way down to the Baltimore 54, and Clooney drops that pass. That's the first time we've seen him drop a pass.
Chris, a real late flag came in from the back judge.
Aaron, 6 catches, 120 yards. Let's find out what that flag's about.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Baltimore number 9, first down.
Well, that's Charles Anthony, and Baltimore with 2 major penalties on this drive. Letting BC keep a drive going and moving it down to the 36-yard line. We've seen too many comebacks in recent weeks to think this one's out of reach, and Baltimore can get careless. See what Austin does with it. Over the middle, Ray Alexander has the catch. Still going if he can turn the corner. Straight arm, and he reaches out to the 30. All that running across field for maybe 7 yards before Urban Smith brings him down. Kev, right now, BC is becoming a little bit predictable because only Alexander and Flutie are catching passes.
Exactly, and it really amazes me because across the board, their receiving corps as a unit is as good as anybody in this league, I feel. Mix it up a little bit, spread it out, and make and really test this Baltimore defense a little bit more, so they have to respect some other receivers.
Pitch out Tony Jackson on 2nd and 4. Jackson with a big hole inside the 20 has a first down. Tony Jackson out of Vanderbilt, replacing Corey Philpott, moves the yardstick.
And Jackson's not a big man either, 5'8", 182 pounds.
Well, the move for Tracy Ham from Toronto to Baltimore has been a big one. Yet Austin has had some growing pains in BC. This afternoon, Austin in relief of Danny McManus has been effective, but had trouble with that snap. Got the ball back, but lost a couple.
Just very, very nonchalant here as Ken Austin comes out. He keeps backpedaling, but he's able to have the opportunity to plant that right foot and come back up and have that ball come right back into his hands. We were joking when we were talking to Joe Barnes, the old quarterback from Toronto and Montreal for all of those years. And he's just, in that Texas draw, he's just, man, them guys now, they throw for as many in one game as I used to throw in a whole season. He was hilarious, talking about Matt Dunnigan particularly.
Here's a wide open man in the end zone, touchdown! Tony Jackson out of the backfield. And BC keeps coming back, and now we've got things heating up. Alfred Payton in the middle of it with Jamie Terrace. It was Payton with a late hit on Austin that helped keep that drive going. But Tony Jackson caps another Lion touchdown march. And they put 21 points on the board, 20 points so far with Austin at the controls in less than 2 quarters of football.
Very important for BC not to take the bait and fall into the trap of trying to retaliate against stuff like that. Try to stay disciplined. If you can stay disciplined for the remainder of this game, you have an opportunity to get back in there.
Interesting game. 4:54 left, 3rd quarter. It's a 10-point Baltimore lead.
Get 6.9% no-limit financing on 4Runner now until October 30th.
This salmon stream was damaged by poor logging practices, and as a part of the new forest renewal plan, we've cleaned it up by restoring the stream bed. As a matter of fact, I could show you many other renewal projects all across British Columbia that we're working on. And another part of the plan is to take better care of our newly reforested areas. Did you know it's the law that companies have to reforest all the land they harvest? And it's part of my job to make sure it's done, and done right, so that there are trees and wildlife for a long time to come. Sure, there's some catching up to do, but we have a plan, and it's working.
We're changing the way we manage our forests. A message from the Ministry of Forests, Government of British Columbia.
Well, things have tightened up here in Baltimore. Great crowd on hand, and that is the first man other than Darren Flutie and Ray Alexander from BC to catch a pass to take Tony Jackson getting in the end zone.
Ken Watson and Carl Anthony working up zone coverage in the back. Watson allowed him to go past him, thought he had deep help by Anthony. Anthony had favored to the post.
Here's Mike Pringle on the return over the 40-yard line, and he lost the football, and BC's got it. Henry Newby has it, and things have turned around dramatically in this third quarter.
Chris, I may change the terminology ever so slightly. Newby just came in and took the ball away from him. He didn't lose it. The guy just said, I want it a lot more than you did. Came in there, got both hands on it, and stripped it away from him.
Wow.
Newby lines him up right in the middle, making a good play on it, dragging him down, and now as he keeps working the hand, pulls it free before Pringle hits the ground, then gets up and picks up a couple of yards.
Boy, that's a great takeaway by Newby. Let's see what Austin does with it. Ken Austin looking deep, and Mike Trevathan tried the over-the-shoulder catch. It falls incomplete. Ken Watson covering for Baltimore. But Baltimore has been unable to stop Austin so far.
Mike Trevathan, just for a split second, thought it was coming back out over his right shoulder, turned and he looked over, and by that time Austin had delivered the ball on the inside, just got a hand on it. Lost view of it just for that split second.
And just the second incompletion for Austin since coming into the game. He's 10 for 12. With 3 touchdown passes, heats on. Austin got it away to Flutie.
Darren Flutie on the reception.
Dragged down by Charles Anthony inside the 20-yard line, and Kent Austin remains down. He took quite a hit from Malcolm Scholl.
Malcolm Scholl came scot-free. No one blocked him. On the blind side of Ken Austin, and as he set up to deliver that ball, Scholl at 6'6", 275 out of Delaware State. Let Ken Austin know that he was there.
Ken Austin was, they tell us, hurting a bit, although unspecified prior to the game. That's Now Goodwin coming in from the middle linebacker position. And he lowered the boom. Dave Ritchie right out onto the field to find out what the status of his number 1 man is.
He's got that left shoulder holding up close to his chest. And his hand just to take off any stress off of the shoulder area. We're not a doctor, and let's not even think about speculating from up here. But it's so crucial now that McManus come out there after everything so positively has been happening that he needs to make something happen. And then these guys are saying, hey, it doesn't matter who's back there. Whether it's 14, whether it's number 7, let's just make that block, let's run our pattern. This guy will get the ball to us. We'll get it done, get it in the end zone.
Now he's in his more familiar position of being the relief pitcher. Jackson stopped by the other Goodwin that time, Matt Goodwin, from the outside. Now was in the vicinity, and Jackson stopped for just a yard or 2 on the play.
And Chris, that may be the best thing that can happen to him if he can think of it in that philosophy to come out there and forget that he ever even started this game. So he doesn't know anything of what happened and what, disappointments he may have had in the first half.
Big play for looking for Alexander. Well covered by Irvin Smith. Alexander thought he was bumped before the ball got there, but no flag. And it will be third down. Smith's been tough on the corner today for Baltimore.
Lots of contact right by the flag. And Alexander does an excellent job of trying to get up, get the left hand on, and tip it back in. Incidental contact, that's going to happen. This is football.
Clock running. Down to 3 minutes to go. Third quarter, and Bisaclia in to attempt the 23-yarder. And Louis is good. And it's now a 7-point lead. That's the good news for BC, but what's the status of Ken Austin? Let's go down and join Scott Oak.
All right, Chris, I'm going to update Ken Austin as soon as I get a chance to have a word with trainer Bill Rochelle, who's working on him right now. But here's the status of the game at Winnipeg Stadium. The Ticats have concluded the first half with a Paul Osbaldiston field goal, and they lead 34-7. I've been around the Baltimore bench, and I can tell you the CFLers are hanging on every update from Winnipeg for obvious reasons, because this day could well conclude with Winnipeg and Baltimore back in a first-place tie in the East. There's Kent Austin. They've got the ice bag out, and they're checking his shoulder, so that seems to be the area of concern. But as I say, I'll get some more specific information at first opportunity.
Scott, the Ottawa Roughriders may be hanging on that Winnipeg-Hamilton score as well. They're in Sacramento this weekend. Now we're going to get a further update on Austin, but right now it's a 31-24 Baltimore lead. They may be hanging on to that score from out of town, but they're just hanging on here.
I got a feeling they better get their focus and attention back between the yard markers out there, because they're in a fight right now.
Lester Smith from his 15-yard line. Lester Smith, some room down that far sideline, but again, flags are flying. And boy, Don Matthews complaining about a lack of penalties last week, getting a bucket full today. Henry Newby got Smith out of bounds.
Holding Baltimore number 56. First down.
Alfred Payton again, the guilty party. Just announced the crowd, 35,416 on hand. So it's first down, back at the 30-yard line after the holding penalty against Payton. Tracy Ham sets up and dumps it off, and that's a catch for Sean Beals, his first of the day. At the 40-yard line, he's close to a first down.
John Beals, a name after he left the Calgary camp, just got lost for a number of months, a year. Had no idea where he was. Tracy fakes the handoff inside, play action pass, just a delayed pattern coming out of the line of scrimmage after Sean Beals takes a block in there, comes out, his first catch of the day. Tracy seeing something that he doesn't like or that he does like. Lots of audibles at the line of scrimmage.
Running out of time, though, and he may not get this off. He does. 1 second left on the clock as he hands off to Pringle. Bouncing off people again. Mike Pringle up to the 47-yard line. And a gain of close to 8 yards, maybe 9 for Pringle, up to 123. To break Willie Burton's record, Mike Pringle had to average 140 yards for the last 3 games, and he's approaching that total this afternoon.
Powerful young back. You see the way he breaks that tackle when Andrew Stewart doesn't wrap his arms up.
Here's a big hole for Pringle. Mike Pringle! A foot race, and Pringle's just caught from behind at the 5-yard line. 57 yards for the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League.
And everybody looks around, Chris. No laundry on the field, no flags.
And he's up to 190 yards on the game, within 230 of Willie Burton's record.
Angelo Snipes comes upfield, gets up,
tremendously far into the backfield. All of the other BC linebackers are up on the line of scrimmage, and as soon as Mike Pringle breaks that point of attack, he's running right past the secondary guys, and he doesn't get touched until about the 4-yard line when he's brought down.
Tracy Ham hands it off. That's Hanley down to the 2. So it'll be 2nd and goal from about a yard and a half out. This will be a big touchdown for Baltimore with the momentum behind the Lions in the second half. Get that power eye, 4 men behind Ham on 2nd and goal from almost 2 yards out.
Watch Tracy May slip something in and keep this ball and naked bootleg it on his own.
Touchdown! Sheldon Canley with his first touchdown in the CFL. All set up by the 57-yard run from Mike Pringle. Every time BC gets close, Baltimore puts a little more distance in between. Giveaway PK to add the extra point to Jimmy. John Jimmy, the former Argonaut quarterback, is the holder. There's Canley, who scored the touchdown. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. And Baltimore with the lead, 38-24.
Hello? Yes, it is. Oh, sure, I'd love to save on my long-distance calls. Listen, I have a cottage about an hour out of town. Oh, you only service major centers. So with that plan, I would have to sign up my friends, too? Oh, I really wouldn't want to do that, no. Well, I appreciate the call, but I think I'll stay with BC Tel. They have everything I need.
I feel good about it.
Me too.
It's true.
We've never done it like this for 2 weeks.
I'm a morning person.
7:30 on the dot.
Brian and Laura have been eating Kellogg's All Brand as part of a complete breakfast every day for 2 weeks, and they feel good about it. Kellogg's All Brand. Try it for 2 weeks, and you'll love it forever.
How'd you like it this morning?
It was great.
From antifreeze to air filters to wiper blades. Inside, outside, top to bottom, Canadian Tire has you covered. Because we have the experience that comes from servicing over 10,000 cars every day and more than 65,000 auto parts and products, which means we help maintain more cars than anyone. So whatever you need, come to the one place with everything, Canadian Tire. There's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you in part by BC Tel.
Back in Baltimore, Sheldon Canley with the touchdown dive.
Gets off that left side behind Keith Ballard at 6'4", 200. And Shar Cordanish, again, 6'6", about 290. These guys create a big opening. Gets airborne. Newby comes in up over the top, but he just does not have the momentum to be able to stop Canley.
And they're strapping up Kent Austin. Looks like they're working on the left shoulder or collarbone. And he would appear to be done for the day, but we'll have a further update from Scott, who's now at the BC bench. Short, bouncing kickoff, and it's Tony Jackson. Stopped up at the 32-yard line. Alvin Walton with the tackle. Let's join Scott.
All right, Chris, well, Baltimore has scored. That's bad news for BC, but even worse is the status of quarterback Kent Austin. You saw a moment ago he's got the ice pack on his left shoulder, and the diagnosis is a separated left shoulder, and it's no minor pain that Austin is in. He was in such discomfort they couldn't even pull the sweater over his head. They had to cut it off, and this injury has implications far beyond this game, because now the concern is, will Kent Austin be available for the playoffs, which of course begin in 3 weeks. The Lions would not say if he'll be able to play. It'll take some serious rehabilitation, but one thing is clear, Chris, with the way he's played today.
And it puts all the more pressure on Danny McManus. Ray Alexander has another beat. Thought he was bumped by Carl Anthony. Maybe Dave Ritchie knew something when he felt he had to go with McManus to start today, because now he is the man.
I would suggest that that is something that Dave Ritchie didn't want to know for sure.
Carl Anthony, the former Calgary Stampeder, veteran corner, all CFL last year. 2nd and 10. Danny McManus has a strike, and Mike Trevathan has his first catch of the day at the 45. It's a first down. Ken Watson with the tackle. We check the numbers through 45 minutes. And the rushing total is dramatically different. Mike Pringle has done a job today. 180 yards through 3 quarters.
That big offensive line and Peter Tuapulotu doing an excellent job of blocking from the fullback position. That's Tui. I'll get that.
Going to need a few reps. Sean Millington stopped in the backfield. Robert Pressbury with the tackle, and it'll be 2nd down. One thing about McManus coming in now, it's tough because they've got to rally around him, but you'd think there'd be a little bit of a sag at the BC bench. Their number 1 guy had a hot hand today, and now he's been knocked out.
But what are you going to do? Lay down and give up?
They got to rally around
him. Champion. Everybody grab the colors of the BC Lions and let's do something. Let's work a little harder. Let's make this thing out there happen. I got to hold my block a little bit longer. I got to run a better pattern. Got to give this quarterback a little bit more time. And then once Danny McManus has the time and he has the effort by all of those other 11 guys around him, now it's up to him also to perform and produce.
Well, one thing Dave Ritchie will like is on this series, McManus has found Mike Trevathan and Matt Clark for the first time today. So they have finally got their first catches of the afternoon, and maybe there's a little more of an option for the BC quarterback. He goes to Jackson now, so he's mixing it up.
Now here's the point. You don't have to be big time about this. You don't have to go to the home run ball, throw it into the end zone every time, come up with a big play. Be patient. When it comes to Homer Garden projects. Be patient. Be patient. Get the ball. Keep it. Make possessions. Make first downs, and eventually you're going to get that touchdown. It's only 38-24. One more score, and you're right back in this ballgame. And if you're not already in this ballgame now, there's a lot of time left.
2nd down. Here comes the rush on McManus, throwing low. Jackson went down and couldn't scoop it. And it will be 3rd and 5. You saw the stat of the quick start for BC and that they've played 500 the last 7 games. But Dave Ritchie says they're 15 games in, and this team is 10-4-1, and that's a pretty good record. He's trying to put the spin on it that it's an 18-game season. He'd like to win 2 of every 3 games he plays, and that was the goal for the final 3, to win 2 of them. That would be a 12-win season, which Dave Ritchie would be very happy with. They're in tough today, though. Now down by 14 with 11 and a half minutes to go. Carl Anthony has dropped deep as Pizzaglia kicks it to the other man deep, Lester Smith, who just steps out of bounds over the 10-yard line.
Where do you want to go for lunch?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
What do you see
feel like?
I'm not going to decide. It's time to go back.
We haven't eaten lunch yet, have we? Hey, Jim Horton! Before we met Richard and Marcia at Home Hardware, our house was about as cozy as this place.
Weather stripping, insulation.
We'll save you energy and money.
Warm, friendly advice.
And don't forget, a great price.
Like this Bionaire Desktop Air Purifier Ionizer, just $59.97, or Cool Mist Humidifier on sale now.
No matter what the job, knowing a home dealer come in handy.
Now is the time to roll into a Big O tire store near you. It's Tire Value Days again. If you need tires, come into a Big O tire store and see the great selection and great prices during Tire Value Days. Like Goodyear, Pirelli, Yokohama, Uniroyal Goodrich, Michelin, and our own Big O brand. See your local Big O tire store for the right tire for you, now during Tire Value Day.
A reputation you can ride on Big O tires.
Rita and Friends, a brand new weekly concert series starring Rita McNeil. With her guests Rock Was In, Jan Arden, Punjabi by Nature, and Real World. All on the debut show of Rita and Friends. Friday night at 8 on CBC Television, 8:30 in Newfoundland.
Welcome back to Baltimore. We're midway through the fourth quarter. Beautiful afternoon in Maryland. Fall colors at their peak in this part of the country. Great football weather, great interest in this Baltimore team in Maryland. And on first down, Mike Pringle trying to add to his totals. Bouncing around for maybe 3. Going into that carry kept, he averaged 10 yards per carry against, as we mentioned at the outset, the #1 team against the rush in yards per carry. BC had allowed just 4.4 yards per rush. Pringle's best game, by the way, was 232 yards against Shreveport, September 3rd. 2nd and 7, and Ham had the ball slip out of his hands. They're ruling it an incompletion. Like Tracy tried to pull it down, but the momentum took the ball right out of his hand.
Tracy tried to bring it down with some authority, and he got away with what he wanted to recock it.
Oh.
Up, and he hits him. I think that's his center, Nick Subas, right in the middle of the back. And more importantly now, for the BC Lions, is the fact that they were able to hold Baltimore deep in their own end and force a punting situation and get the ball back on a short field in decent field position.
And there's a lot of time left, 10-20 to go, and they are expecting to get the football at midfield. They have blocked a Josh Miller punt already today. Not much pressure there, and Miller gets away one of his best. McLennan at his 48. At midfield, he's nailed. But good field position for BC as we rejoin Scott.
All right, Chris, well, the fans can call them Colts, and they do at every opportunity, but Baltimore owner Jim Spiros can't. He spent $600,000 in legal fees, been beaten 3 times in court, and now reluctantly admits he won't be able to wrestle the name Colts back from the NFL, so he's intending to turn the issue over to fans in a poll. The choices are going to stay in the equine family, most often suggested stallions, mustangs, and hosses. Spiros also says no nickname, leaving it as it is an option, and the one he favors because that allows the fans to bellow Colts whenever they like, which, as you have heard today, they do. There you go.
Go ahead. Scott, you couldn't have cued that any better.
One of the problems Jim Spiros has is the NFL. We've got an injured Baltimore player, that's Lester Smithslow, to get up. The NFL has trademarked a lot of those names, and now they have to go back to the NFL and say, look, we'll leave the Colts issue alone, but we want to get permission to use the Mustangs or the Stallions because all those names are now under the NFL domain.
Look at that NFL. They probably went through it on Noah's Ark and just named everything on the boat. and they figure they got it covered somehow. It's important. And the fans here are really die-hard, loyal fans. And they're football people, and there's a lot of buzz in the street as you're walking around in the hotels, and they're very excited about what Jim Spiros and the Baltimore CFLers have done here in this city.
For example, Scott mentioned that Baltimore would have to beat Winnipeg by 8 next week in a tie situation. Everybody in Baltimore knows that. And here's Tracy Gravely with a big pickoff. Gravely now down the sidelines, caught by Sean Millington, but the former Lion. Boy, some of the ex-Lions have had big afternoons. And Tracy Gravely to that list.
Baltimore will take over inside the 30-yard line in BC territory.
Tracy Gravely,
Attention fans, here is
Richie said he's found a home at linebacker, and the old Lion takes that one back 35 yards on the McManus interception.
He was big when he played halfback for BC. He's a little bigger right now, and he's still just as quick. Good solid zone as he cuts underneath Darren Flutie, who had set down in the hook zone. Followed the ball in. Sean Millington travels him down from behind. Makes the tackle on him, maybe pokes in the eye a bit. But more importantly, big turnover for the Baltimore franchise. Tracy Ham, first and 10.
Pringle was stopped by Glenn Scribner on the first down play, but kept since the Austin injury, everything has gone back in Baltimore's favor.
You could see the momentum and the enthusiasm and possibly even the confidence just elevate to a different level when Ken Austin went on the field. And just as quickly as it went up, you did see it drop when he went off.
Second and 10, they're looking deep for Wilson, and he has the touchdown over James Jefferson. Touchdown, Walter Wilson. 26 yards. And Tracy Ham has his 4th touchdown pass of the day. Jefferson victimized by Walter Wilson. Don Matthews said he wanted to get the ball to the wideouts this afternoon. That has been a success. Now Igwe to make it a 21-point lead.
Chris, as we were walking around the field right before the game, Walter Wilson was down there, and we kind of talked and happened to mention that to him, and his eyes really lit up. He's, are you kidding me? Hey, that's the best news I could hear all day long. And then when they did have an opportunity to get the ball to the outside, they were very productive. Walter Wilson, number 84.
Well, he was in the top 5 in receiving early in the year, but in his last 7 games had caught just 9 balls. They just stopped throwing to the wideouts. But Ham has redeveloped the connection here this afternoon.
Perfect protection for Tracy Ham. Sprints out, sets up, gets his body turned, and just lays it out there. And Wilson, with that great speed that he has, gets it into the zone. Just show it. Just style a little bit. You cock the wrist. You're right there. It's done.
91 yards for Wilson on the day, and I knew that if you give the East Carolina product a second chance, he was going to make amends for that drop ball earlier.
I think he led all-time leading receiver from East Carolina. 91 catches at one time, 16 touchdowns in his college career.
Hasn't been over 100 yards in a game since August the 20th. So one more catch might push him over the century mark again today. 8:28 left. BC back in a 21-point hole. Spencer McLennan lunging over the 35. 20-yard return, back with BC ball when we get back.
One person buys a car, call it a fluke. A couple of people buy the same car, maybe they're friends. A few hundred people buy it? Could have been a sale or something. But when over 300,000 people buy the same car, it's more than a coincidence. It's a success. The 1995 Altima from Nissan. Now available for $299 a month.
Let the cold winds blow. You'll be cozy and warm with Seal and Strip from Mono. Clear self-sealing Mono Seal and Strip. Seal and Strip seals on contact to prevent wind around windows and drafts around doors. And when it's no longer needed, Seal and Strip strips clean away. Insist on Mono Seal and Strip and get drafts to run around.
There's a new kind of space travel, engineered for shipping non-hazardous liquids in a new form of energy-saving container. One that holds 5 times the volume of steel drums and takes 20% less shipping space. A corrugated container that is so efficient, it not only uses recycled fiber, it is recyclable, reusable, and biodegradable. Spacecraft. Another innovation by Macmillan Liddell, making the most of a renewable resource.
At Memorial Stadium, the CFLers lead by 21, and at Winnipeg Stadium, the Bombers trying to dig themselves out of a big hole against Hamilton. Matt Dunnigan back to pass and goes 23 yards to the other Gerald Alphin in this case to make it 34-14 into the third quarter. Chris, Winnipeg's got the weapons to come back, but I'm guessing Hamilton's confidence is sky high after last week's win over Calgary.
Scott, one thing about Hamilton, they're getting a lot of practice protecting leads, and I guess the more practice, the better they're going to get at it. To Alexander in the flat, and a flag flies as Alexander gets close to the first down stick. Goodwin and Anthony on the tackle. 45-24, 8:02 to go. Baltimore leads.
They may take that back holding against Trevathan. An illegal block. Illegal block. BC number 58. Repeat first down. That's Rob Smith that got out there from his left tackle position.
And so it will be 1st and 20. Danny McManus started the game, was ineffective in the first half. Replaced by Ken Austin, who promptly got BC back in the football game, only to get hurt. Now McManus back in relief this time, throwing over the middle and has a strike to Ray Alexander. And that is a first down, big pickup of 21 yards.
Now that was a play that had all the elements together, Chris. Good blocking up front, sound protection, standing in the pocket. McManus delivers the ball out there. Good route run by Ray Alexander, and the ball slipped on the money. First down. Well, it's one of those things. Now they at least know that they have the capabilities of doing it. They just have to be repetitive in doing it.
McManus gunning it downfield, and Darren Flutie makes the catch. So this is as sharp as we've seen McManus to the 38 of Baltimore. And Darren Flutie over 100 yards again today.
St. Joseph Hospital, where the team goes for care. Terminally healthcare needs with
Scott had mentioned that on the Baltimore sideline, they were paying a lot of close attention to that scoreboard, and maybe they took a good look at their scoreboard and decided, well, 45-24, they may be taking a little bit of a breath here. All of a sudden, they're letting 2 big plays happen. This is usually a very tenacious defense.
McManus throwing to Trevathan. And at the 26-yard line, close to another first down. Well, clearly the second time around for McManus this afternoon he has been more effective.
I think it's also important that BC, in some capacity, establishes at least that they have a rushing game, that they have somebody back there that this BC defense has to respect.
Here comes the rush. McManus wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Darren Flutie. 28-yard touchdown pass for Flutie, and he has 9 catches for 191 yards in the game.
Chris, but then again, when you can play pitch and catch all the way down the field, why would you need to rush the ball?
Boy, Flutie's had a terrific season. And with 5:51 left, there's still time.
Straight down the seam, not much of a jam. It doesn't run him off of his route at all, and the ball's thrown on the line inside, so Erwin Smith can have an opportunity to get there before Darren Flutie puts it in for the major.
31.
Hello?
Mom, it's me.
Hi. How are things?
Fine.
Everything okay?
Uh-huh.
Nobody offers more fiber optic lines than BC Tel.
Mom?
Oh, I know why you're calling. I can hear the rain.
And clearer lines mean closer ties.
Okay, hon, just about ready?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I want to go pick up some antifreeze and some winter wiper blades.
Oh, say, maybe a bread maker?
No, we're not going there.
Well, but...
These guys are specialists.
Well, if they have a bread maker that plugs into the lighter?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll buy it for you.
You spoil me.
You can count on me.
Mom, why does it rain?
Because the clouds get full of water.
Why does Uncle Rick's breath smell funny?
Well, maybe Uncle Rick doesn't take very good care of his teeth.
Why not?
Some people just don't. Maybe they don't know about things like gum problems or going to their dentist.
Okay. Mom, where do babies come from?
How about some more dessert?
Avoid gum problems. See your dentist.
You in here?
Yes. Only 7 months till spring.
Where are you going?
Crazy. Only 7 months till spring.
What are you doing?
Jack, why don't you go get your clubs, go out in the garage, and practice putting?
Wouldn't be the same. Where are you going?
Only 7 months till spring.
Coming up on Country Canada, big railroads are getting rid of rural lines in Ontario. Small rail companies want to take them over, but say the provincial government stands in the way.
I would hate to see the rail line, all these small rail lines close, because it takes a number of trucks to ship what you can with one car.
Saying goodbye to the railroad, Sunday on Country Canada. There's Darren Flutie with the touchdown pass. What an effort he has had, and one of the premier receivers in the Canadian Football League. On the receiving end of this touchdown pass from Danny McManus, who must have a real confidence boost after that series of plays.
That whole team has to, just for that 4 or 5 plays that they ran, they came out there and executed perfectly what they needed to do.
What a kickoff by Caravetta all the way into the end zone, and Lester Smith will concede the single, but there is a flag down. An 81-yard kickoff by Caravetta.
Just the only speculation with a flag in that location has got to be offsides against BC.
Oh boy, that's a frustrating one for the kicker and for the team.
Offside, BC number 48. Repeat the kickoff, back 5 yards.
Brian Ford, a little anxious to get downfield. So it remains 45-31, and they'll have to kick it off 5 yards further back. And now Dave Ritchie calls the kickoff team around him. Well, do you talk short kickoff? I don't know if you telegraph it by having a team meeting with 5:43 to go, but the Lions now approaching the dubious distinction, and we may see it this afternoon, of becoming the most penalized team in a single season.
Well, Chris, that's exactly what it looks like, because Don Matthews has countered by sending out his hands team. He has 10 guys up that are well versed at fielding the football, just in case there is a short kickoff.
Boy, there's about a 40-yard pocket between the up men and the 2 men deep. Pringle lets it bounce and has trouble with it. Inside his 20. Mike Pringle now turning it up to the 25, maybe to the 26. 7-yard return. Here's Scott.
Well, Chris, in Winnipeg, the Ticats keeping the Bombers at bay. A few minutes ago, you saw Gerald Hoffman's Winnipeg touchdown. Almost instantly after that, Dave Denal in from 1 yard out for the Ticats to reestablish a 21-point lead at 41-14. He's in the game because Reggie Barnes has suffered a shoulder injury, and now Troy Westwood's kicked a 54-yard field goal for the Bombers, and it's 41-17 at Winnipeg Stadium.
Again, Ottawa and Sacramento tonight. The Ticats starting to make a move in the East. Here's Mike Pringle off the right side. Stopped up just beyond the 30-yard line, but a gain of about 5 for Pringle, who's approaching 200 yards in the game.
Well, the BC defense is between a rock and a hard place here where they need to make something happen, need to try to tackle the football. But instead, if you try to arm tackle and tackle the football away from a guy like this, all he's going to do with those powerful legs is run right through that kind of tackle and go in for a big gain.
But a big day for the Baltimore offense against the Lions defense that has came in leading in 6 different defensive categories. Tracy Ham keeping it himself and surging towards the first down.
Tracy Ham on the keeper, stopped by Virgil Robertson.
And Ham should have enough to move the sticks. Virgil Robertson, Andrew Stewart on the tackle. And Ham does move the yardsticks, and the clock moving. 4:12 to go. It's been a big day for Ham, as you can see. This team is going to be tough in the playoffs because they do have the ability to move the ball on the ground with Pringle and Ham, but he also has some pretty reliable receivers. Mike Pringle trying to get outside, hit in the backfield by Snipes, now turned back. And at the 35-yard line, he is stopped for a loss of close to 3.
Angela Snipes makes the stop on Mike Pringle.
Super individual effort by Snipes. He hits him the first time, slides off of the tackle, then gets up and has really a solid pursuit as far as getting after him again, and then makes the tackle. Now it gets a little physical down the field. Everybody's trying to get in and make a block. Armstrong's coming off. Barry Wilburn taking a bit of exception to that, putting a little helmet inside and the face upside him.
Second and 12 from the 35.
Second down and 12. Ham drops the football, and Tracy Ham having a little trouble getting back on it. He does maintain possession for Baltimore, but now it's 3rd down. 2 minutes, 49 seconds to go. We'll take a timeout to be back to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore.
On September 15th, all over North America, hundreds of people test drove and repaired the all-new Chevy Blazer. Here's what people in BC had to say.
The new Blazer was great.
That's the Ford Explorer, a shame. I really liked it.
I felt very much in control in the Blazer.
Quite a bit more power, considerable more power.
I really like the new Blazer body design.
I love it.
It can't get much better than that.
I think everybody my age should have one. Makes you feel young.
Test drive the all-new Blazer at your BC's best Chevy dealers.
Hi, welcome to Subway.
Subway isn't like those fancy New York steakhouses. No stuffy maitre d' or jackets required.
Great vest. Thanks.
But we do have A1 steak sauce. It's on Subway's new A1 steak and cheese. Slices of tender, juicy, seasoned steak topped with the great taste of A1, plus all the fresh fixins you like. And at Subway, you don't get a big bill. You get change. Subway's new A1 steak and cheese. Appetites are required. Jackets aren't.
First came the revolutionary new Camaro, setting a new standard for sports cars. Then came the new S-Series with standard airbag, ABS brakes, and quality that won 8 major awards. Now your BC's best Chevrolet's Geo dealers are unveiling the all-new Monte Carlo, the surprising new Lumina, and the eagerly awaited, totally redesigned Chevy Blazer, giving you the quality and features you want, the safety you need, at a price you can afford. That's genuine Chevrolet at your BC's best Chevrolet's Geo dealer.
was not Kent Austin effective in the short time he played in this game. Here's the math on his injury. Normally, a separated shoulder means 4 to 6 weeks out of the lineup. He did this about 3 years ago in Saskatchewan, separated his right shoulder, and was out of their lineup for 5 weeks. If it takes him that long to recuperate from this injury, Chris, it's possible he'll miss the playoffs.
Crushing blow to Austin. Looked like he was rallying the Lions for a big dramatic comeback this afternoon. Josh Miller on third down was rushed. McLennan inside his 35. And the coverage has been good today. Matthews will be happy about that. So Ken Austin on one sideline down and finished, and his old teammate in Saskatchewan, Gerald Bayless, on crutches at the other sideline.
As I mentioned earlier, he's been hampered with a knee injury and a bicep injury, and that knee injury has been reactivated again.
Two premier players in the Canadian Football League, and you hope they're back for the playoffs.
Well, you never know. I mean, if Ken Austin, it's his left shoulder, and how badly it is, hopefully he can throw, but is that left shoulder able to take any punishment once it makes contact with either another player or the ground?
Danny McManus, Schultz still trying to salvage this one, and there's Darren Flutie again. Flutie trying to get outside. Let's see if he can turn the corner. Well, he'll run out of bounds at the Baltimore 49. 2:17 to go. And Darren Flutie over 200 yards for the third time in his career. 25 more on that catch.
Takes a good look as he sets in the zone, comes back. Now he goes all the way across the field, picking up his blockers. Gets out of bounds very smartly, stops the clock.
BC can score quickly here. We may be in for a great finish. McManus has time, looking deep, looking for Trevathan, stretching out, can't bring it in. Step for step was Ken Watson.
Mike Trevathan gets up and hustles back to the huddle, but not without having a little thing to say to the
brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line.
Referee on the way by. Thought there was some contact made there, was looking for a pass interference call.
Yeah, it got a little physical between Trevathan and Watson. 2nd and 10 from the Baltimore 49-yard line. And standing in, looking for Trevathan again, and what a catch by Mike Trevathan. In traffic, and Trevathan, who was still upset about the no call on the last play, draws just a terrible flag.
And he's deservedly so.
Mike, the vow of silence.
He comes back, lock him out. Coach ought to take all those guys over and get their jaws wired shut for next game if they can. Comes back, makes an excellent catch in the middle of two defenders. Look at this grab. Great concentration. And then he's still thinking about the play before when the guy may have missed the pass interference calls, and he gives him a little lip service.
There's objectionable conduct, physical abuse of an official, PC number 77, disqualification, 25-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, 25 yards and Trevathan gone. Well, when Dave Ritchie talked about Trevathan's intensity, he didn't want it to boil over at such a critical time.
Right at the last one. Watch when he gets up, throws the ball,
and he hit the official.
Well,
the verbal abuse is...
There's lots of verbal abuse, but they're calling it physical abuse of an official. Illegal contact with him. The penalty is 25 yards and disqualification. And I think he's going to have to leave the field.
Well, you can see the 15 yards for objectionable conduct. I think the official got carried away on that. Mike just isn't a quarterback. We're trying to throw the ball over the official and ended up catching the shoulder.
I would think with an official that close to him, if he wanted to throw it in his face and hit him with it, I don't think he would have had any problem with it. I think the ball just sailed past his shoulder. The official took objection to it. But unfortunately, I think when now you see a big play like that change the whole focus of this game, and then also the fact is now you're losing one of the major players out of this contest for an incident like that, I don't agree with it.
So the ball's back at the 51. Prior to the play, it was at the 49. So when it's all said and done, they lose 2. And 2:04 left on the clock. But it would have been a nice pickup to keep on the board for Trevathan and the Lions. It's been an uphill battle all the way for BC, and they're running out of time. Here's the rush. McManus got it away, and Spencer McLennan couldn't hang on. In for Trevathan. McLennan, the intended receiver.
Ken Watson on the cover. Brings up a second and 10.
Anytime you get backed up the way that they are right now and you're desperate to try to make a big play happen, you send the front 4 guys and these guys get after you for Gantz, Pressberry, Miller, and Payton. Then you throw a linebacker in there every now and then and you play good coverage behind it. It makes it tough to break that zone.
Second down. Here comes the rush. McManus got it away, looking deep, but overthrows everybody except Michael Brooks, who couldn't hang on. Couldn't squeeze the interception. McLennan again, the intended receiver. Brings up third down, and no point in kicking now. BC will be gambling on third down.
With a minute 51 remaining.
Take a big look on the right hand of Michael Brooks. He has a cast of a broken thumb. And that really hampered being able to pull that interception in.
So it comes down to this for Danny McManus. Third and 10 with a minute 51 to go. Here's the rush, and McManus down. Ken Benson, who led the CFL in tackles last year with Toronto, broke his leg prior to the start of this year and is just getting back in the Baltimore lineup. Comes up with a clinching defensive play.
He was a player, when I first saw him in Toronto, I was just tremendously impressed with his athletic ability and his speed and his tenacious tackling. Good performance that time. Blitz comes on the outside, stays in good containment position, forces Danny McManus to step up, and then when he does, he's dead.
Minute 46 remaining on the clock. 45-31. Baltimore with the lead. And Mike Pringle with the ball. Cuts it inside. Has some room. And that acceleration up the sideline again. And that should push Pringle over 200 yards on the game. When you consider his totals for the year, Kep, what's really amazing, the first game of the year, he had 4 yards rushing.
Good block by John Earl, the right guard, pulling that time. Also Neil Ford pulling across the formation. And then you mentioned it, the acceleration, the explosiveness that he has once he turns the corner and turns the jet zone, able to create separation away from himself and the defenders.
Now 1,686 yards on the season. Mr. Burden's record is in jeopardy as Pringle carries again. 230 yards shy of the all-time CFL mark for a single season prior to that last carry. And he'll have 2 games to break the record, but it's now getting into his range. 24 carries, 216 yards. So just 16 yards shy of his best game of the year. Down at the line. Dave Cheaters got an arm up.
Brings up a third.
Those big defensive linemen right now were anticipating not getting up the field to chase Tracy Ham on a pass rush, but playing the rush a little bit more. But as soon as Cheaters saw Tracy Ham set up, turn around and throw, all he had to do was get a little elevation, and that was an easy pass for him to knock down.
Well, we talked about Pringle at the outset. He clearly won the battle against this great rush defense of BC today. And I don't know, Pringle, Flutie, Pitts, outstanding player this year. They're all great candidates. Now Iglebike into try the field goal, and it is good. Ronald Iguabique adding to the Baltimore lead, which is now 48-31. And Baltimore is going to go into that first-place showdown next week here against Winnipeg in pretty good shape.
I think they're going to be in tremendously good shape. And if everything still maintains the same in Winnipeg, and Hamilton can hold on to that lead, it makes for just a great ball game next weekend. It's amazing how Baltimore seems to have the ability to either turn it on and turn it off. Sometimes they were coasting through the course of this game, and then when BC would score a touchdown, they'd turn around, score another one just to show that they could do it and keep the lead and keep that distance between them and that gap between the score.
I mentioned to you at a break a little earlier that maybe Don Matthews isn't totally happy with his defense today because it seemed the Lions kept working their way back into the game. There's McManus on the last gasp throwing a completion near the first down. How would you assess their performance defensively?
I would assess it exactly as you just said. I don't think Don Matthews, and knowing Don Matthews as a defensive coordinator when he was with myself and the Edmonton Eskimos, that he demands that you play 60 minutes, and that was his point of, when I change things with specialty teams out there, I want to get rid of guys, I want to get my starters back on, I want to start grooming myself for the playoffs. I'm requiring you to play 60 minutes at your absolute best. And I don't think we saw that defensively or offensively today.
Boy, Brooks Cast has just cost him 2 interceptions in this last 3 minutes of the game. He had a shot at pick there. As the clock winding down, 49 seconds left, presuming that I think it's a safe one now. BC's out of reach. We look ahead for Danny McManus now, who will start next week with the injury to Ken Austin. They've got Las Vegas and Calgary at home. Your thoughts on the Lions closing out here this afternoon?
They got a lot of work to do. They really do. They have, as far as rebuilding their confidence, with Danny McManus as their quarterback. Caravetta at this point now becomes probably the second-string quarterback. Now what do? Now you have to get him some snaps just in case Danny McManus is not getting the job done.
And we had a graphic up a minute ago showing the lopsided rushing numbers. Here's McManus on first down, throwing it deep, looking for Matt Clark through his hands, incomplete. But we saw Pringle at his best today, and BC, especially now that there's a quarterback injury, needs Corey Philpott at his best.
Well, I think they have to get Corey Philpott. They have to get somebody, taking nothing away from Tony Jackson. He was just, they were playing catch-up all day long. They just couldn't profile him at all as far as getting the ball into his hands where they could rush the ball. They got backed up. They didn't make very good first down production. They got second and long, had to throw the ball downfield, and this Baltimore defense jumped all over them. 2nd and 10. McManus under pressure again, dumps it off, and that one goes by Tony Jackson. Complete. 29 seconds left, and they're into another third down situation.
29 seconds remaining.
Well, this loss will overshadow another brilliant day by Darren Flutie. His other game this year over 200 yards was in a loss in Winnipeg earlier this year. And 11 catches, 225 yards for Flutie today. Here's McManus throwing it out to Flutie. That is a lateral, and Flutie picks it up and throws complete to McLennan. That's a live football, and Spencer McLennan down to the 30-yard line. So good presence of mind by Flutie.
There was a lot of guys on that Baltimore defense that stopped dead right then. As soon as that ball hit the ground, everybody just quit moving. Except Flutie.
So now there's a couple of Fluties in the passing statistics this year. He's got a little ways to catch up, though.
I think he may have just a little more yardage to pick up before he can catch up with Big Brother.
There's McManus throwing for McLennan, incomplete. Carl Anthony step for step. That's all right. Doug's a little bit behind Darren in receiving totals this year. 9 seconds to go.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 30.
This will be just the second start of Danny McManus' CFL career that he's lost. He had an unbeaten record until last year in Sacramento. There won't be a quarterbacking controversy next week in BC. Number 14 will be the starter.
has the opportunity. Now it's up to him to go out there and win the respect and the confidence of these players that are around him.
Darren Flutie adding to his totals. Makes the ladder roll and down to the 5-yard line. A flag down as time has run out. And let's see if there'll be one more play tacked on.
We do have a flag on the play. And no time remaining on the clock.
Major foul, face mask, BC number 55, decline, game's over.
That will do it. Dave Ritchie's team now has dropped 4 of their last 6, and Don Matthews has a chance to move into first place next week with a showdown pending against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Let's go down and rejoin Scotto.
Okay, Chris, a key figure in this Baltimore win, Mike Pringle, who's a lock to be named the CFLers Outstanding Player nominee in the next week. Mike, 24 carries, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. How do those numbers sound?
That's a bit surprising. I didn't realize I had that many yards on the ground. But first of all, I'm just glad we got the win, and I couldn't do anything without my offensive line.
Your thoughts on being a major weapon in a potent offense led by Tracy Ham?
Oh yeah, Tracy's. It's a big advantage having a veteran quarterback like Tracy back there calling the plays, and he calls his own plays, so he sees what the defense is doing, and he takes advantage of the defense real well.
How were you not good enough to play for Sacramento? Explain that.
Well, you have to talk to Kay Stevenson and the other guys in the front office. I still don't know.
You're right. Unfair question.
Yeah.
Quickly, Mike, is first place a realistic goal for this team?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a realistic goal. But again, we're gonna take one game at a time, and we're gonna enjoy this win for a couple of hours, a few hours until tomorrow, and then take a look at Winnipeg and go from there.
Big game, first place showdown next week. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
At Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Canadian Football League looked pretty good today. 40,000 fans, glorious weather, a fine effort by the CFLers who claimed victory.
The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports. Inside the cavernous depths of Toronto's Sky Dome, the Argos' Marvin Graves arrives for his next assignment: to shoot the living daylights out of the Edmonton Eskimos. Graves